This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Sunny and 32 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
FIVEaa is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. FIVEaextra.com.
The Duke of Cambridge is hitting back against allegations of racism in the royal family. More from Nine's Karianne Greenbank in London.
Prince William has defended the royal family against Harry and Meghan's claims of racism in the first public comment by a senior royal since the Oprah interview aired. While on a tour of a school in London, the Duke of Cambridge said the royal family is very much not a racist family and said he hadn't spoken to his brother Harry since the interview but intended to do so. It comes days after a statement from the Queen aimed at calming tensions after the couple's explosive claims.
Growing tension between the ambulance union and the state government over funding has forced the Employment Tribunal to step in. The union's been ordered by a judge into mediation. Treasurer Rob Lucas says both sides need to compromise.
We're prepared to compromise. We are prepared to offer additional resources, but the union has to now be prepared to compromise as well. They need to agree to some form of roster reform and meal break reform.
The EU's medicines regulator says there's currently no indication the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine is linked to an increased risk of blood clots. Iceland, Denmark and Norway are temporarily suspending use of the jab after reports a small number of people develop clots. But the European Medicines Agency says cases in vaccinated people are no higher than in the general population. FIVEaa suburban dawn services will take on a different look this year. Outdoor services at Brighton, Semaphore and Morford Vale have been scrapped and will instead be held in RSL club rooms for members and invited guests only. RSL State President Cheryl Cates says the decision wasn't made lightly.
First and foremost, and what people don't understand is we have a responsibility to our veterans and in particular our ageing veterans. If one of our veterans was to take ill, who's going to come to the RSL's rescue then?
The federal government's tourism support package is receiving mixed reviews. The $1.2 billion will be spent to provide 800,000 half-price airfares to 13 destinations around the country. SA, New South Wales, Victoria and WA have just one destination each, and Queensland 4. Destination Gold Coast Chief Patricia O'Callaghan says any help is welcome.
We do have a long road ahead of us to rebuild, and as international borders remain closed, I think this incentive will go a long way in stimulating Australians to come and visit the Gold Coast.
Quarantine-free travel from Auckland is resuming. The New Zealand city's COVID hotspot declaration has been lifted. States and territories can still impose different conditions or arrangements on arrivals. Pressures mounting on New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to resign amid allegations of sexual harassment. Nearly 60 politicians have signed a letter calling on him to step down. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says the governor has no choice.
Called an employee of his, someone who he had power over, called them to a private place and then sexually assaulted her is absolutely unacceptable. It is disgusting to me. And he can no longer serve as governor.
Former AFL coach Danny Laidley has been cleared of drugs charges after completing a 4-month diversion program. The 53-year-old, who didn't have to appear in court for the hearing, is on a good behaviour bond until May next year. Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with a little bit of football, and Sam Powell-Pepper's been granted some personal leave from the club to deal with issues. A release has been sent out and he's not expected back until at least next month. It's likely he won't return to the team to play until at least round 3. Meantime, Captain Tom Jonas says he's enjoyed a few days off ahead of next week's season opener. The 30-year-old telling Rowie he tries to make the most of his downtime.
Just making sure the body's primed, and after a game, obviously we played Sunday, you usually have a couple of quiet days anyway, so we had a little run around in our own time. They sent through the program, so I just found a nice patch of grass along the riverbank and just got it done up there.
The Adelaide 36ers have lost their NBL clash against the Brisbane Bullets, with former Sixer Nathan Sobey dominant with 30 points. To cricket, 2 games in the One-Day Marsh Cup yesterday, with Queensland smashing WA by 93 runs under the Duckworth-Lewis system, while Tasmania beat Victoria by 6 wickets. South Australia will play against Tassie in a one-dayer later this morning. Roger Federer has been knocked out of the Qatar Open by Georgia's Nicolas Basilashvili in the quarterfinals. Cameron Smith is the best of the Aussies in the first round of the Players' Championship in Florida. He finished at 1 under, putting him 6 shots off leader Sergio Garcia. And there's about 15 minutes to play in Europa League action, with Manchester United leading AC Milan 1-0. Arsenal takes on Olympiacos in the next half hour. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Electrical, air conditioning, gas, solar or plumbing issues? Call Sharp Services on 131 750.
Sunny and 32 today. Morning rain developing tomorrow down to 22. Partly cloudy on Sunday, 19 and 21 for Monday. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast. We've got a massive program coming up for you today. Chief Medical Officer Nicola Spurrier will join us after 7 o'clock. Lots to talk about in terms of the vaccine rollout. Some concerns about adverse effects in some Nordic countries. You've just heard about it in 5AA News. We'll speak to Nicola Spurrier about it after 7 o'clock. But top of the agenda is going to be Anzac Day that's been cancelled in Brighton, Semaphore and Morphett Vale, certainly in terms of the sorts of service that you'd normally come to expect. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. That's ahead. Also, Phil Curry in the nation's capital. We'll speak to the lawyer of the Spanish man who worked at the Woodville Pizza Bar, who says he wants an opportunity to clear his name. He was called a liar by the Premier and just about everyone, frankly. We'll talk about that. And also the Chief Inspector, Des Bray, will join us from SA Police about this awful alleged killing of a young lady that more extraordinary details have come out about overnight. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. It is a Friday, so we don't want to start the show on a downer, but I've got to say the Premier's got one job to do today, and that's to ring the RSL and fix this absolutely appalling situation where at the same time that the Fringe is on, the festival is on, and we're having 40,000 people attending football matches, that we can't have Anzac Day memorials. That was the saddest part for so many people of last year's lockdown. We remember all those plaintive scenes of people standing there with candles in their driveways, the fantastic initiative by James Morrison, the jazz musician, to get every Australian with a bugle or a trumpet or a hornet to play the last post in their yard. He did so himself down in the Mount. But you cannot have a situation where you have tens of thousands of people attending other events for fun and not attending the most solemn date on the Australian calendar, and it is bureaucracy gone mad. The RSL, and we're going to get them on after 7 o'clock, they can't get enough barriers. They talking about the Port Adelaide RSL, they're saying, oh, well, you know, if 1,000 people come in through here, then...
You can't rope off the entire beach at Semaphore, for example.
With the stroke of a pen, and this is where the Premier actually needs to be the leader of the state. He needs to say, listen, it's Anzac Day. Based on the health advice at the moment about COVID cases in South Australia, despite this slightly mystifying alarm about what's going on in the northeast of the city, and obviously things would be subject to change. If there was some real change in circumstances...
A positive case.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we don't have, by the way.
We don't have. We haven't had for a very long time, apart from people coming back from overseas. The Premier just needs to say this is happening.
Yeah. I find the whole thing slightly confusing. Here's the Police Commissioner, Grant Stevens, in our program just yesterday.
Well, once again, this is, I don't want to sound like I'm handballing to health every single time, but SA Health manage the process for large-scale events, the COVID management plans that large-scale events have to have. The preliminary indications I have is that we're aiming for an Anzac Day this year that is much more aligned to our traditional Anzac Day, where we have the ceremony in the morning and we have the march later on during the day. But obviously it will be done in a way that is in accordance with the COVID principles that we're doing all major events with. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to demonstrate that we are in a really good spot in South Australia and Australia more broadly. So I think it'll be very similar to what we have seen in the past, as opposed to what we did last year, where we all, showed our respect by standing in front of a house.
And less than 24 hours later, we're talking about the fact there won't be services at Port Adelaide Semaphore, at Morphett Vale Semaphore in Brighton. Something doesn't jar there. Something doesn't quite marry up. Because there's no way the Police Commissioner on our program yesterday answers that question that way with the expectation that within 24 hours there's going to be a host of these things that simply can't happen.
Well, I don't think the government knows either, because there was a front page story on The Australian 3 days ago, and I contributed my one paragraph to it as the South Australian correspondent, and it was Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister of Australia, saying how glad he was that Anzac Day services were going to be back to normal with the requisite social distancing. So, as part of that story, I rang the Premier's office and his media spokeswoman, who's very friendly and helpful, I've got to say. She's always great. Straight away, she emailed me back, hey Pembo, don't worry, I've given this one to Ken McGregor in health, former Crows star. He's the media guy for Stephen Wade. I've got an email on my phone from Ken McGregor saying, yeah, it's all going to be sweet. It's going to be, provided they've got a COVID plan, they can do it. Now, I don't know whether the RSL have on their own been tearing their hair out and going, oh, hang on, well, this all looks too hard, we're just going to have to cancel it. There's certainly a cost issue.
I think that's what's happened.
Some of the RSLs.
But they've clearly been given the old template of this is the COVID safe plan you need to satisfy, and part of it is you need to have a venue where you control the entrances and exits, and you can control numbers of people at all times. And they've said, well, hang on, we do this by the jetty at the beach, or we do it in big reserves.
Well,
the thing is,
I don't know. They may have been talking to health as well and been told, well, this is what you need to do.
But this is the problem with the template. These guys aren't organising Woodstock.
No,
There's not going to be 150,000 people that suddenly turn up.
Yeah,
they know how many come. 17,000 come to the one in at Brighton.
And
10,000 go to the one at Semaphore.
The fact that it attracts a lot of elderly people. Well, here's some free health advice. If you're worried that you're in that category and you don't want to take any risk, don't go to the dawn service.
That's right.
But for everybody else who wants to go, I mean, it's just stupid. You can't, on the one hand, be holding press conferences about how great it is that we've still managed to get Mad March up and running, and then presiding, because you are ultimately responsible as the government of the day for the policies that are in place, for the rules and restrictions that are in place. You can't, on the one hand, be giddy with excitement about how the arts has roared back to life post-COVID and not having Anzac Day.
Absolutely.
It's a bloody disgrace.
Yep. 13 minutes after 6, 8223 0000 is the number if you'd like to jump into that conversation and lend your voice to the cause. We'd more than appreciate it. You can text us too on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 044808 1395. It is Meat Tray Friday today as well. We had a little bit of a brush with the supernatural earlier this week. Spoke with Zoe McDonald, a psychic medium who located a lost pet in a way that the owner, the specific information, had the owner questioning their faith in just about everything, I think. So for the meat tray today, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road, Prospect, Meat Tray Hall of Famers. We're asking you, when's something spooky happened to you that you can't explain? 8223 0000. Have you had a brush with something you just can't explain? Maybe it's not spooky, it's just defies your understanding of what happened. You don't want to lend that sort of supernatural feel to it.
You know, I lived in a rental house in Goodwood once. Louisa Street? Was it Louisa? No, Blackett Street. Blackett Street. I lived there for a year when I moved back from Sydney. And one morning, well, not morning, middle of the night, 3 a.m, the doorbell rang. I was there on my own. I thought, it's the doorbell. And I walked down the corridor, and I opened the door. There was no one there. And I thought, there's probably just kids. And then I walked back down the corridor to the bedroom, and I walked past the bathroom. And as I walked past the bathroom, my electric toothbrush turned itself on. How weird is that?
That's a ghost with some real commitment to dental hygiene, isn't it?
That's why we can't show you his face on television.
The ghost of dentist's past came to pay you a visit. 8223 0000 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. 0448 08 1395 is the number. We've got news headlines coming up in just a moment.
G'day, it's Bix here at Jarvis Toyota. I've come for a test drive of the all-new Toyota Hilux. Now, there's never been a Hilux like this one. It's a 2.8 litre diesel. It's delivering 20 kilowatts more power, but it doesn't mean more fuel. In fact, the new Hilux offers over 10% improved fuel economy. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Hilux. Come for a test drive and take home the feeling. Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang curtains and 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang blinds. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Thought about right-sizing to a retirement village in an area you love? Come and experience village life and get real answers to your questions from residents who live there. Register now for free events at a village near you. Search Lendlease Retirement SA.
With Amazon Prime, watch big drama TV like the Amazon original series Making Their Mark, while also receiving no drama free delivery on Prime eligible orders. Start your 30-day free trial today. $6.99 per month thereafter. T's and C's apply. Amazon Prime.
You're off then?
Yes, dear.
The backyard needs a good trim with the ride-on mower.
Totally. The kids will be done shortly, so they need picking up from the Oval.
Good plan. Why are you giving me the car keys?
You can't walk to the Oval, silly. Oh, don't worry, the backyard will look fantastic by the time you get back. Mwah.
Okay, dear. But I get the ride-on next time?
We'll see. Probably not.
Stanford Mowers for ride-ons. 590 Main North Road, Jeps Cross. stanfordmowers.com.au.
Hearing Australia.
Hi, I'd like to ask about hearing aids, please.
Sure, but why are we whispering?
So we don't disturb the fish.
Oh, right. Our range includes hearing aids that can be so discreet people probably won't realise you're wearing one. And for eligible pensioners under the Hearing Services Program, there are 3 device choices to choose from that are free. And we will care for your hearing for life.
Got 'em, you beauty!
Hearing Australia. Discover the secret to celebrating sound in your life. Call 134 432 or 134 HERE today.
Pardon? Sorry?
Huh?
What? Pardon? Sorry?
Huh?
What?
It's time to stop ignoring the whats, especially with hearing loss linked to other health issues. At Audica, we offer a no-obligation free trial of our hearing devices because we want you to feel comfortable wearing them. We specialise in personal hearing health that's tailored to you. Visit audica.com.au to book your free hearing health check. Be hearing healthy with Audica. Available to adults aged 26 or over.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
18 minutes after 6, Anthony in Ridgehaven's called in. Morning to you, Anthony.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I've got this really weird thing happening in my home, and I just can't work it out. It's not just once; it's regularly. I throw all my clothes on the floor, and all of a sudden they disappear, mate. They've been picked up, and they've washed, ironed, folded, and they've been put away.
I don't know where they get to. That's not so much having a ghost in the house, Anthony. It's more being a male chauvinist pig, I think.
And, yeah,
I hope Anthony's a fake name, mate, is all I'm saying.
Put the bin out sometimes, and it's already done for me.
No, that's not.
Dinner just arrives miraculously in front of you every night. Yes.
Not touching that one.
No, that's right. Exactly.
19 minutes after 6. Let's get to the news headlines. Major crime detectives are seeking public help to track down the final movements of Jasmine Kaur. The 21-year-old's body was found in a shallow ditch in the Flinders Ranges on Sunday. Police believe she was abducted after finishing work at Southern Cross Homes in Plympton at around 10 p.m. last Friday. Her alleged killer was driving a metallic blue 2009 Commodore, and Des Bray will join us on 5AA Breakfast with more after 8:30 on that story. The federal government's tourism support package is receiving mixed reviews. $1.2 billion will be spent to provide 800,000 half-price airfares to 13 destinations around the country. SA, New South Wales, Victoria and WA have just one destination each. Queensland has 4. Few of the other, especially the New South Wales and Victorian state premiers, have said, well, hang on, does this benefit us?
Yeah.
Or are we just sending our people elsewhere? There's a little bit of state rivalry that's going on here now.
We only get KI, don't we?
Yeah, we get KI, which is, I think, a really interesting... I don't know how they came up with the destinations, because presumably you'd want that dollar to extend to as many regions as possible. If you fly in from from Queensland, Brisbane, and go, I guess I'll go to South Australia, and you go to KI, you're kind of going to spend your whole time on KI, aren't you? You're not going to... If you flew into Adelaide, you could go to KI, you could go to the Barossa, you could go to McLaren Vale, you could go anywhere. But if you're on KI, you're probably going to spend all your time on KI.
Yeah, if you're flying, you probably are.
But it's airfares.
Because the way it works is the only bit that gets you half price is the Adelaide to Kingscote bit.
Yeah.
Because Adelaide's not a tourist destination, but Kingscote would be. Yeah. Is that the way it would work?
I assume so.
Or is it the entire Sydney, Adelaide, Kingscote?
Maybe it's the whole trip. I'm not sure.
We'll check that out.
I just found it interesting that was the one we went with.
I know KI are loving it. Michael Pengilly, the mayor, sent me a text yesterday going, "How good is this?"
Yeah,
it's great for KI.
It's fantastic for KI.
But you're right. What if you
it doesn't do much for the rest of South Australia?
Running a little, small winery in McLaren Vale or something like that.
Yeah, you get nothing out of this. Iceland, Norway and Denmark have suspended the use of the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine for a fortnight. The reports some recipients developed blood clots and a person may have died as a result. Health officials are investigating, but they say at this stage no link has been established between the vaccine and blood clots. In fact, you've just heard in 5AA News a moment ago that the highest authority in Europe that oversees this stuff said the occasion of blood clots in people post-AstraZeneca vaccine is the same as people with blood clots that woke up on any given day. It's simply the mathematic reality that some people get blood clots.
Yeah, right. From being vaccinated.
Well, no, just
from,
it just happens.
From anything.
From anything.
Yeah, right.
So you're no more statistically likely to get it having had the vaccine than not.
So it's an unrelated event.
That's what the main European Health Authority is saying. Meanwhile, the European Commission has approved the single-dose coronavirus vaccine that's been made by Johnson & Johnson. A boat filled with 200 kilos of cocaine has been intercepted off the New South Wales coast. International law enforcement tipped off federal police. A man's been arrested. He's due to appear in court later today. 200 kilos.
My God, what would that be worth?
The state's 3 largest suburban outdoor dawn service have been cancelled. We'll continue to do work on this morning. Instead, services at Brighton Semaphore and Morphett Vale will be held in RSL club rooms with restricted members. Well, at this stage they will be.
Remember in the happier era where the Premier used to text our program, occasionally ring in, and if he does listen, or if anyone who works with him listens, we'd love to hear from him. What's he doing about it?
Haven't heard from him much at all about anything recently.
Maybe he's down Lot 14, or whatever it's called. Playing with a model spaceship or something.
Prince William is denying accusations the royal family is racist and says he hasn't spoken to his brother since the Sussex's tell-all interview with Oprah. Meghan Markle claims someone in the family raised concerns about the colour of her and Prince Harry's son's skin before he was born. The Queen says the matter will be taken seriously. Prince William said, as reporters were shouting at him, "Is your family racist?" He said, "Well, very much not. We're very much not racist."
Was Huffy at the press conference?
23 after 6.
Love Andrew Huff.
He's our favourite.
He is.
We love Huff. He's a legend. All right, let's check the weather. It's going to be hot today. Top of 32. Winds east-northeasterly 15 to 20 k's an hour. Shifting west-northwesterly 15 to 25 in the morning and becoming late a little bit later today. But then the weather really changes. Tomorrow, 22 the top with up to 5 mils of rain. And it means it's going to get cool for the weekend. 19 just the expected top for Sunday. 21 Monday, 24 Tuesday. Starts warming up again by Wednesday. We get to 27 and 29 on Thursday.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang curtains and 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang blinds. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Feeling fatigued? Can't focus? Tired all the time? Now imagine you were a doctor in that situation. Half of junior doctors in SA's public hospitals report their workload is heavy or very heavy. A third report they never or only sometimes get paid for unrostered overtime. Meanwhile, a lack of medical staff contributes to ramping and waiting lists. It's time for SA Health to get real about staffing in our hospitals.
Authorised by Dr. David Pope for the South Australian Salaried Medical Officers Association, Adelaide.
Can't hear all that now, can you? That's because this home has a Jolong double-glazed window and door system featuring high-performance sound insulation and heat resistance. That's not all Jolong can do for you. They can also help design your home with the light luxury and elegance you desire. And Jolong is on this journey with you for life with lifetime service. Visit jolong.com.au.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. March into Bridgestone Select for big March deals like 4th tyre free and up to $100 cash back on a range of Bridgestone and Firestone tyres. Conditions apply.
With Beaumont Tile's Be Visual Live app, you really can try before you buy. Take a photo of your family area, select the tile you like and see it live. And get 28% off your floor tiles. Beaumont's live visualiser and 28% off. You'll be happy you chose Beaumont's.
Save up to 55% off Sealy Posturepedic exquisite discontinued floor stock mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. Now's the time to upgrade your mattress and support Australian-made manufacturing. Plus, purchase with 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. Minimum finance amount $1,000. Approved applicants only. 60 equal monthly payments. Interest applies if you do not comply with terms and conditions. Fees and exclusions apply. Save up to 55% off Sealy Posturepedic exquisite discontinued floor stock mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman.
At Coles, enjoy great value with new Coles Plus online subscription offer. Get double Flybuys points, free 90-minute click and collect and much more. All for just $19 a month. Sign up today and get the first month free. Coles. Value the Australian way.
Yeah, keep coming. Left, Barry.
I am going left. Meet Bev and Barry, grey nomads with 10,000 Ks on their caravan and counting.
No, the other left.
That would be right, Bev.
Just park the van.
I would, love, if you gave me the right direction. Walker Crash Repairs may not be able to fix their little arguments, but they can fix their pride and joy if something does happen. Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved crash repairer for caravans and cars.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
27 minutes after 6, Tom Wren's wandered into the studio thanks to the Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher. You can save up to $800 on selected meal and cooking appliances. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. We'll start with some sombre news for Port Adelaide. Sam Powell-Pepper, he's been granted personal leave from the club. He's going to focus on his well-being. They've sent out a release, and he's quoted in the release. He says, along with the rehabilitation of my broken hand, there are other parts of my life that need some work right now. I appreciate the support of the club, my coaches and teammates in this. He's not expected back until at least next month.
Good luck to him.
This seems to be increasingly common, and it seems to be a good thing in the AFL. We had Paddy Ryder the other day, so he needs to take some leave for mental health reasons.
And to see his family. He hadn't seen him for so long with
That's
lockdown.
Right. Yep. It's been
Lance Franklin was one of the first to do it.
Yep.
Very long period of leave for Buddy.
So, yeah, let's hope he gets it right and comes back, bigger and stronger and mentally, more prepared to face
I love
the
that
challenges.
bloke. I'd have him on my team in a shot. I just think he's such a tenacious bloke. He's
Yeah,
like an
he's-
old-fashioned footy player.
Well, when he's playing well,
Yeah.
Port are generally playing pretty well. So he's
not always on.
Yeah,
but when he's on, he's super on.
Yeah, and he's tough. He's intimidating.
Yeah,
isn't he?
totally.
Boys, I'm looking forward. While we're on football, I was at the captain's sort of presser yesterday with Jonas and Sloan. Both spoke really well. The Amazon doco's coming out tonight. Really looking forward to that. So should be great. Good insight into.
So hang on, the Amazon doco. What's it about?
I think it's just an in-depth look at the Crows, in particular, Rory Sloan.
There's 6 teams.
6 teams involved.
Yeah, and it's a behind the scenes of the season 2020. I've seen the first episode. It's really high production value. It looks spectacular.
Does it focus on rounds 13 through 16?
No, it certainly does not. It's called Making Their Mark. It's really well done, and it's the first time I think we've had a genuine behind-the-scenes, no-holds-barred look at sport in Australia, because we always get this really sanitised version here. That, oh, my God, what if we hear them swear? There's this sort of fantasy that we kind of have.
Yeah.
But this gives you a real insight, and it's really well done. And one of the clubs that are focused on is Adelaide.
Which is great. And it leads me to the next point. You're right, Will. I think we have been a bit sanitised. There are some great sporting docos, though, about the place. Just quickly, I love a good sporting doco. Your favourite one, Will, of all time, and Pembo?
I got 2 answers for you right off the top of my head. One of the ESPN 30 for 30 series, Once Brothers, that tells the story of Vlade Divac and Drazen Petrovic.
Fabulous.
2 great basketballers, but also great friends who grew up in the former Yugoslavia, and it's when it split apart. One's Serbian, one's Croatian. They went from being teammates and growing up to playing together to being essentially mortal enemies.
Very, very sad.
It's a great story.
Fantastic story.
The other one would be Sunderland Until I Die recently that was done. I think it's the best following a single team documentary I've ever seen. That was
Sunderland. I'm gonna write that down.
Sunderland Till I Die.
Brutal. Well, they thought they were going to get promoted back to the Premier League. Instead, they went down to League One, and it just all fell apart.
I love that series. It's just a
Have you read the book Among the Thugs by Bill Burford about being a soccer hooligan?
No.
Oh, it's such a great book.
Pembo doco?
Even though it's largely great because Muhammad Ali is great, I would go for When We Were Kings. I love that film.
I think that's the right answer. If this question has a right answer, I think that's probably it. It's
I'm
probably
young,
the greatest.
I'm handsome. I'm pretty. I can't possibly be beat. I've done something different for this fight.
What's yours, Rennie?
Mine's Catching Hell.
Yep.
So the Chicago Cubs had this horrible curse. And there was a fly ball. They were about to go through to the World Series.
Bartman?
Steve Bartman. Yeah. They're up 3-0, top of the 8th. A fan goes to catch the ball. Steve Bartman supposedly gets in the way of the player who's going to take the catch. Obviously, it doesn't get taken. The team then hits 8 runs that inning, win the game. The crowd blame him. Hasn't been seen for 20 years.
He had to leave, I think.
Had to leave. Had to be escorted.
I think didn't he move to another part of America?
He's been offered millions of dollars to do interviews, has refused it.
You could broaden
Amazing story.
You could actually do a series about sports stars who've become hermits because
this guy was the crowd member.
He was a fan.
Oh, he's in the crowd.
He was in the crowd.
He leaned over to take the catch.
Yeah.
It's one of the best docos I've ever seen.
The Brazilian goalkeeper from the 1952 World Cup when they lost 1-0 to Uruguay in Rio, and the goalie, he let in a howler, and he's like a sort of Bradbury type word in Portuguese in Brazil, where people say, "Oh, you've done," I can't remember his name, Nascimento, I think it was. What a Nascimento! It's like you've stuffed everything up for everybody. But in the 1970s, he turned up at Brazilian soccer training with the World Cup squad. He just turned up out of the blue, and they went over to him and said, "You get out," because they thought he might curse the team.
Yeah, you don't want to become the curse.
That's right.
Good on you,
Good on you, boys.
$700 on selected Miele cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 32 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
3 of the state's largest outdoor dawn services have been scrapped. Instead, services at Brighton, Semaphore and Morford Vale will be held in RSL club rooms for members and VIPs. A few lucky people will still be able to attend, with spare spots up for grabs via a ticketing system. RSL State President Cheryl Cates says people can still pay their respects from home.
People can still light up the dawn, and we encourage them to still light up the dawn.
The Ambulance Union has been ordered into mediation with the state government. The SA Employment Tribunals issued the direction amid an ongoing funding dispute. Treasurer Rob Lucas has welcomed the decision.
Any mediation in any dispute, both sides have got to be prepared to compromise. The government is prepared to compromise. It's now time for the union to do 2 things. They've got to stop the industrial action, and secondly, they need to agree to roster reform and meal break reform as well.
Prince William says the royal family is very much not a racist family as he spoke publicly about his brother's tell-all interview. Prince Harry and Meghan claim an unnamed royal raised concerns about what colour their son Archie's skin might be before he was born. The Duke of Cambridge says he hasn't spoken to his brother since the interview aired, but plans to do so. Iceland, Denmark and Norway are temporarily suspending the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine. They're investigating reports a number of patients develop blood clots after having the injection. Authorities are stressing it's just a precautionary measure. President Joe Biden will lay out the next step in America's fight against COVID-19 in his first primetime address since taking office. More from Nine's Michael Genovese.
It was on this day 1 year ago that Tom Hanks was diagnosed with COVID-19. The NBA went into shutdown and the virus death toll in the United States reached 38. It was then the World Health Organization declared COVID a pandemic. 530,000 Americans are now dead. Today, President Joe Biden will reflect on the past year in what the White House is calling his first primetime address. He'll then outline the next steps in America's plan to defeat the virus. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump has released a statement claiming the vaccine would still be 5 years away if it weren't for him.
Almost a third of Australians say they put off going to the dentist last financial year. About 1 in 5 say it was due to cost, but the pandemic's also believed to have played a role. Dr Kathleen Matthews says there are potentially serious health problems from ignoring dental health.
Bigger implications might be exacerbation or complications of other diseases like diabetes or heart disease. So there's a good reason to help to keep your mouth healthy, because it probably helps keep the rest of your body healthy as well.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide's Sam Pepper has taken some personal leave from the club, saying, along with the rehabilitation of my hand, there are other parts of my life that need some work right now. It's hoped the 23-year-old will return to the club next month. To tennis, and Roger Federer's return to the court after a 14-month absence has ended at the hands of Nicolas Basilashvili. That's at the Qatar Open. Federer went down in 3 sets, but says he's just rapt to be back on tour.
I'm already over it. I would have loved to play tomorrow, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm also happy to get a rest. Happy how I played today. I'm happy how I did yesterday. I'm happy I was back on the tour. I'm pleased I came here to Doha.
Yeah, good stuff. Great to see him back. Let's go to golf. 7 Aussies are in action at the prestigious Players' Championship in Florida. Adam Scott is among them, the 40-year-old with a birdie on the 5th hole to bring him back to even par.
That is a heck of a 3 from where he was. So there it is, a birdie.
Audio thanks to Fox. Great to hear the crowds there also. And there was one game in the NRL overnight with the Melbourne Storm 26 to 18-point winners against South Sydney. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Electrical, air conditioning, gas, solar or plumbing issues? Call Sharp Services on 131 750.
Sunny and 32 today. Morning rain tomorrow down to 22. Partly cloudy for Sunday, 19. And more of the same on Monday, 21. At the moment, 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 7. Arman Abramzadeh will join us before 7 o'clock this morning. Then after 7 o'clock, RSL President Cheryl Cates will be on the program. The Chief Medical Officer Nicholas Spurrier as well, and there's lots to get through in that segment. You might have a question of your own. We love you being part of the show, and you can be so by calling 8223 0000. Right now, if you call in, you might be part of Meat Tray Friday. We had a spooky story that we covered earlier this week. The psychic medium that found the lost pet. So we're asking you for the meat tray today, thanks to Liam and the team at Schneller's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road, Prospect. What's your spooky story? Graham in Tennyson, good morning.
Morning, boys.
How you going, mate?
You guys ever stayed at been to the Port Broughton Hotel?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, the Port Broughton Hotel.
It's a great pub, and this is pre-COVID. A few years ago, I stayed there for a couple of nights midweek when I was working up there, and I was having a couple of beers downstairs, and I had a room upstairs. And just your classic old-style pub upstairs, floorboards, communal bathroom, that sort of thing, and overlooks a jetty. And incidentally, that jetty has a statue of an Anzac out the front of the jetty, so I hope they go ahead with their Anzac Day celebrations there. But anyway, my point is that some dude downstairs told me, that joint's haunted upstairs, don't you? And I went, oh, yeah, right, I'm a bit like Blake, I don't believe in that sort of stuff. And so I went to bed, and sure enough, about 3 a.m., all the floorboards up there are creaking and doing all sorts of things.
Really?
So I wasn't alone.
So it freaked you out, Graham?
I really think it was just, changing temperature was making them creak and crack. But nevertheless, it always puts a question mark in my head.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Graham. Thank you for that. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to necessarily believe in the supernatural. It's just the unexplained story today. You might hope that there's some perfectly innocent explanation. You just don't know what it is. Steve in Kathmandu, good morning.
Oh, good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is going back a few years when I was driving for one of the Adelaide Metro companies. I had my wife on the bus this particular evening, and I was driving an articulated bus, left Tea Tree Plaza, turned right onto McIntyre Road, heading up the hill, if you know where I am now, and the bus stopped just prior to Montague Road. The bell goes. I had about half a dozen people on. Bell goes, I pull over and open up both doors, the front and the back door. And the wife says, just as I'm leaving, she said, "Why did you open the back door for?" And I said, "Because the bloke down there got off." She said, "There was no one down there." She said, I'm looking, so she was in the seat facing the back. She said, "There's no one in the back part of the bus." And I said, "There was a dude in a suit. He got off." She said, "I'm telling you, there was no one there."
Oh, really?
Anyway,
that's good.
Yeah, no one there, but this person, he got off. The following night, I was doing not the same trip that I did the night before, but a different one, and about an hour later, same thing. I had about a dozen people sitting on the bus. I just got up to the traffic lights of McIntyre and Montague Road when it was a very faint greeny yellow mist went straight through the bus, and then all the interior lights went off. And
Sounds like the Bermuda Triangle up in that part of Adelaide.
Well, I put the lights back on, and I asked I said, "Did anybody else just see what I saw?" And everyone said, "Yes." And now we're a little bit freaked out.
Do they say it like that all together? Because that would have scared the hell out of me.
That's right.
Get on you, Steve.
I love stories like that.
I like the first
Maybe
one.
there was a man in a suit who died in a car accident there like 50 years ago.
Maybe.
Do you know the story of the Lake George ghost in Canberra?
No.
Oh, it's excellent.
No.
Too scary to tell on air.
First one sounded like something like D.B. Cooper. I like that. Rob in Somerton Park, good morning.
Yeah, morning, guys. I'll have to tell you a very condensed version of this story. It happened in Edinburgh. I was 16-year-old, and I rented a flat from the infamous Madam Dora Noyce in Edinburgh, and it was a basement flat with my girlfriend. And we moved in, and things got really weird in the house. It was a bad atmosphere in the little flat in the basement in this tenement building. And things were going missing, clocks were changing. I mean, you go to bed at night and the clock would be at the wrong time when you got up, and guitar strings were going missing and things. Anyway, one night I broke my leg falling down the stairs after tapping the doors upstairs and trying to annoy the neighbours. And we came back to the house, and my girlfriend and I came in, and the feeling in the house was terrible, and we said, "Oh, we're getting out of here." So we left, and as I leaned back in to close the door, I felt like something was pulling me back into the house. Managed to pull myself out, and I walked 5 miles with a broken leg to get away from there. Came back about 3 weeks later to get the stuff out of the house. And inside the house, on the inside of the door where my head would have been, there was a long, bladed, sharp knife sticking in the door, just where my head would have been.
You're kidding?
So wow.
No, true. So we went in there, got the stuff, and got out. It's a longer story. I've sent you a link to the whole story in there. But I looked later, and there's an archaeological thing that the building's been demolished, and under my flat they found the bottom half of a torso buried standing up from the 17th century, right under there.
Really?
Oh, now that is spooky, Rob. Oh, that's a quality spooky story.
Buried on a 17th century grave.
Yeah.
18th century grave. Unbelievable.
That is sensational. Good on you, Rob. Well, we might take one more before we head for police and weather. Kane Glengarry, good morning.
Oh, good morning, guys. My daughter and her family moved to Wangaratta about 2.5 years ago, and they're living in her husband's parents' first house when they got married and they had this house here, so they're living there. And my daughter was outside one day with the kids, and she said to them, "Can you see that man standing next to me?" And the kids just looked at her, and she said, "Can you see him? He's a big man. He's got a dark suit on and a white shirt." And they said, "Oh, they couldn't." Anyway, and then her little girl was, Mila would have been 9 then. She kept saying to Mum, "Oh, there's the girl. There's the girl." And Marty said, "What girl?" She said, "The girl that lives here, the other girl. She's. Can you see her next to me? Can you see?" Well, this went on for months. Things happened in the house, the TV would go on and things like this, but it's all stopped now. And this guy, she asked her mother-in-law, and that was her grandfather, or she seems to think it was her grandfather, big man, always well-dressed. But it's happened for about 2 or 3 months and then it just stopped. But the little girl that my granddaughter was seeing, she totally believed in. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that was a bit
Maybe
spooky.
the guy in the suitcase just got off the bus on Montague Road as well.
Good on you, Kay.
It's starting to give me the creeps.
Some great calls. Yeah, I think we can terrify David by 9 o'clock. This will be good. 8223
I love being scared, though.
Double O is the number. You can text us to on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line 0448 08 1395. The meat tray, thanks to Liam and the team at Schnella's. Your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect.
If you want to build a new home, something that reflects you and your lifestyle, speak with Beechwood Homes. And just so you know, they won't try and sell you a house plan. In fact, there's no house plans until you tell them what you want. So go for it. Start thinking of all the possibilities or get in touch with Beechwood Homes for a few thought starters. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. For inspiration, visit the stunning Beechwood Homes display home in Blackwood Park.
Dr. Greg Keane explains how SportsMed puts patients first every day.
SportsMed is different. We have a clinic and hospital with specialists, doctors, physios and podiatrists all together in one location. There's also pathology, radiology, pharmacy and a cafe. This makes life easier for our patients because their appointments can all happen right here. It also lets us diagnose issues quickly, leading to high quality, cost-effective care.
And their patients love it. SportsMed.
Start living life again with our expert help.
Sportsmed.com.au.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we believe that what you want is pretty straightforward. A service department that offers factory-trained mechanics, next-day servicing, complimentary pickup and delivery, wash and vacuum is standard, brake, wheel alignment and shock absorber testing included, complimentary loan cars, breakfast or lunch is on us, and access Wi-Fi while you're waiting. Go online to book your service today and experience the difference. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
We know Adelaide like the back of our hand. That's why so many South Australians look to us for real estate advice.
Toop and Toop Sales Director Bronte Manuel talks about some unique off-market selling tools.
It's fair to say Toop Vault has been a huge success since its launch more than 6 years ago. With our team personally managing our database that's fast approaching 17,000 active buyers, it really delivers for people wanting a targeted, discreet property campaign. The Vault works so well that on average it enables us to sell more than one home from that pool of active buyers each week.
I guess that's why Toop and Toop was named National Innovation Agency of the Year for 3 years running.
Innovation is certainly something we've placed a real emphasis on since Toop and Toop was founded more than 35 years ago. The best technology gives our clients the best chance of success, and that's what matters to us most.
To find out more about Toop Vault, visit vault.toop.com.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang curtains and 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang blinds. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
12 to 7. Time to check in with Safe Bowl. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan joins us. Morning to you, Jen.
Morning.
Now, there's been an arson at Flaxley. What's happened?
There has, and just after 1 a.m. this morning, police and CFS were called to the intersection of Davison Road and Stamps Road, and that's in between Mount Barker and Achunga in the hills there. And that was after a report of a grass fire. CFS were able to quickly extinguish the blaze, which damaged a small amount of grass and shrub, and patrols believe that the fire had been deliberately lit. So after searching the area, they've actually located a 29-year-old Mount Barker man who's been arrested for causing that fire. So crime scene investigators are going to attend this morning to assist with the investigation, and he's expected to be charged with offences relating to the fire and the property damage. And again, obviously, this season we ask if anybody saw any suspicious behaviour in the area to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Jen, also, what about this drink driver at Paralowie 3 times over the limit?
Yeah, very disappointing, especially after a long weekend with horrific injuries to everyone. At 12:30 this morning, police were called to Heather Close after reports of a vehicle doing a burnout. So Northern Patrol searched the area and located the suspected vehicle of doing the burnouts on Ibsley Court, which is not far away. They stopped their car and breath tested the driver, who gave a positive result of 0.151, which is, like you said, is 3 times over the limit. So disappointingly, he's a 19-year-old man from Elizabeth Downs who's lost his licence for 12 months, and his vehicle has been impounded for 28 days.
And also, Jen, police are appealing for public help over the murder of the woman in Coralta Park.
Yeah, so as you all know, Major Crime are investigating that murder that occurred at the weekend in the Flinders Ranges. And I believe you've got Superintendent Doc Bray later on this morning. So we know that last Friday the suspect was driving a metallic-coloured 2009 Holden Commodore sedan. The registration of that is S Sierra 267 CJD, Charlie Juliet Delta. And he drove with the victim from Adelaide to Williston, which we actually think he took a wrong turn at that point, and that was about 10 to 11:30 on the Friday night. A photo of that car is on our Facebook page if anybody needs to see it to remind themselves what that type of vehicle looks like. But he's then turned back, and from about 12 a.m. till 3 a.m. he was on the Princess Highway, which is the main highway, as you know, from Adelaide to Port Augusta. We want to know if he's been seen along that highway, so we're appealing to anybody with dashcam footage to please call us. Maybe he stopped at a service station at Port Wakefield or Port Augusta. And about 3 a.m. he's continued on his journey all the way up to Quorn, where he's been lost between Quorn and Hawker for about 11 hours, which is a considerable amount of time. So again, we're appealing if anybody's seen the distinctive metallic Commodore or a neatly dressed Indian man in that area at that time, to please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Thanks for that, Jen. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan. So from Jen to Jenny at the Weather Bureau, it's Jenny Horvat, who's the senior forecaster on duty this morning. Jenny, what kind of Friday do we have ahead?
Oh, look, we've got a sunny and hot day ahead. It was a little bit of a cool start. We got down to 14.3 at 5:30 this morning. Not too much warmer at the moment, so if you are out and about, you might just need that little extra layer just for this morning. It's 15.3 at our West Terrace and Nida Pira site, but it is warming up. 32 degrees for the city, 34 for Elizabeth, 31 for both Glenelg and Noarlunga today, and 32 up at Mount Barker. This heat is short-lived, though. We do have a change moving through tomorrow. Temperature right back down to 22 degrees, and we are looking at some rain coming through early tomorrow morning and should clear off during the afternoon. Might even be a rumble of thunder around the northern suburbs as well tomorrow morning. So we'll see those northwesterly winds shifting southwesterly before dawn. So bit of a change there from 32 to 22. Cooler conditions continuing on Sunday, but it should be a dry day, partly cloudy and 19, and then it should slowly start to warm up. So 21 on Monday, 24 on Tuesday, up to around 27 and maybe even 29 for next Thursday.
Good stuff, on you, Jenny. Thank you for that. Jenny Horvat, senior forecaster at the Weather Bureau. Let's check traffic for the first time this morning, thanks to Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer for a second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
A truck has broken down on the freeway up track just before the tunnel's speeds have been reduced. It's picking up at Wingfield on the Port River Expressway, building towards the north-south motorway towards Bolivar, and you'll find roadworks at Mitcham. Taylor's Road through to Fullerton Road is down to 40 k's. Check your speed at Main North Road, Mawson Lakes. The King Anniversary Sale ends soon. Save on the best in Australian furniture design. Visit the King Keswick showroom or shop online today at kingliving.com. That's Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Thought about right-sizing to a retirement village in an area you love? Come and experience village life and get real answers to your questions from residents who live there. Register now for free events at a village near you. Search Lendlease Retirement SA.
Keeping your business connected as you grow from here to here. It starts with a business mobile plan that helps you work on the go. Search Optus Business today. Great business starts with yes.
Start the year with AutoPro's Super Saturday Sale. Get a huge 30% off dash cams, 30% off engine oils and 25% off roof racks. That's right, up to 30% off big brands such as Uniden, Castrol and Rhino Rack. This Saturday only at AutoPro. Percentage off regular ticketed price available in store only. Conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Peter Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. The Stressless Sale is now on. We're inviting you to enjoy a level of comfort like nothing on earth. There's nothing quite like a stressless recliner or sofa. And with huge savings across the range, Berkowitz is the destination for stressless. Experience comfort that's been 100% designed and manufactured in Norway. The Stressless Sale at Berkowitz Mile. We're not just a furniture store, we're a furniture family.
Attention business owners and ABN holders. Wow, it's March already. If you want to take delivery of a new Toyota before June 30, you have got to get your order in now at Peter Kittle Toyota. Don't write it on a sticky note. Don't try to remember it. Just get it done. Place your end of financial year business car order before the end of March or you could miss out. Call or visit peterkittletoyota.com.au and place your order with our team of fleet specialists. Job done. Peter Kittle Toyota. Car buying made easy. MDL 284343.
Meet the girls from the FIVEaa Milk Company, your local milk company. This is Matilda. Over here we got Daisy and Charlotte. Grace. This is Alice. Who else have we got? Nicole. Beverly.
With more moo
Lucy.
in every bottle, look for FIVEaa Milk Company at independent supermarkets and the Adelaide Central Market. 100% local, 100% preservative-free.
Samantha. Barbara. She's a bit cheeky.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Four minutes to 7. Nicholas Spurrier coming up after 7 o'clock this morning. Also, Cheryl Cates, the RSL president. Big talking point today, the decision to can 3 of the major dawn services on Anzac Day. We'll be talking more about that in depth after 7 o'clock this morning. But we're joined right now in the 5AA Breakfast studio, as you can probably see if you're watching along on the 5AA Facebook or YouTube live streams. Aman Abrahimzadeh in the studio. Aman, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pambo and Will.
Good to see you, Aman. Yeah, we're good. Is it
likewise.
I've still got the Zara, and I'm sure Will's still got the Zara Foundation T-shirt that you gave us. Was that a year ago?
Yes, it was.
Because it was the first event last year, wasn't it?
No, I think this is... 5th year probably.
Oh, really?
Running.
Yeah,
Yes,
right. Of
yes.
course. That's right.
So if you guys are thinking about joining us at the races, you can
wear the T-shirt.
Yeah, wear your T-shirt.
It's local to me because you run from down. The Women on the Run event happens at Grange, doesn't it?
Correct. Yeah. We start on Grange. So this is happening next Sunday, the 21st, and 21st of March is an important date for us because it's a conflicted date because it's our New Year, it's the Persian New Year. It's my mum's birthday, but it's also the date where the incident took place at the convention centre. We've decided for the past few years that we're going to do this fundraiser. Thanks to Credit Union SA, our major sponsor, we've been able to do this for the past few years. And we encourage people to come down, bring a backpack with them. We usually get people to put non-perishable foods or other items that they can donate, because then at the end of the race they can go to food bank and they can donate everything that's in their backpacks.
Now, I note rather cleverly and hearteningly in all the material you've put out, it says 4K fun run /walk.
Yes.
So anyone that's listening going, well, I'm not doing a race.
No, that's right.
There's something in it for them too.
Of course, yeah. So,
I looked very closely to make sure there was a caveat there about being able to walk it, Aman. So, did you manage to do it last year with COVID?
We did, but last year we did it on 22nd of March, which was a Sunday, and I remember the restrictions came in from Monday 23rd.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right.
We literally just got in.
Because it was just after WOMAD. When it
was.
WOMAD was last weekend.
Yes.
But yeah, it was after the March long weekend.
Do you have to have a
came down.
COVID plan or something or other to host an event like this?
No, not with this one, because it's an outdoor event, and also I guess in terms of the sort of crowd numbers that we're expecting, I don't think we'll need to do one. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good news.
It is.
It's also interesting news in the context of the next discussion we're going to have after 7 about outdoor Anzac Day dawn services not being able to go ahead, but that's not what you need to discuss, Aman. Hey, and we're not going to ask you any questions about the Adelaide City Council either. We're just going to talk about more important stuff. What's the symbolism of the run in the context of domestic violence? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so it's called Women on the Run, and there is a reason why we get people to bring their backpacks is because when people flee abusive environments, and I know through first-hand experiences that you literally get minutes or possibly even hours to gather some important personal belongings, chuck it all in a bag, and flee the home. So with us, when we fled our home about 12 years ago now, there were 4 of us. We packed 4 bags, we chucked it all in the car, and we left our family home. So we know that we're not unique. We weren't unique. There are lots of women that are still fleeing abusive environments to this day. With a backpack on their backs, and so that's why we're asking people to bring a backpack and bring anything that they can donate, because at the end of the race, Food Bank will be there and they'll be able to collect all those donations.
It's a great initiative, and it's great to have you in, Armand. Lovely to see you.
Thank you
all this time.
Thank you for your support. Really appreciate it.
Not at all.
7 o'clock, 5AA News Time. The Chief Medical Officer, Nicola Spurrier, shortly, and we'll be talking in depth about the decision to cancel a host of dawn services ahead of Anzac Day.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 32 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. physioextra.com.
The state's 3 largest suburban outdoor dawn services have been cancelled. Instead, services at Brighton, Semaphore and Morford Vale will be held in RSL club rooms with restricted numbers. RSL State President Cheryl Cates says it's been a logistical nightmare.
A lot of this is done by volunteers as well. They've got to have their COVID-safe plans, got to have their hostile vehicle put in. This is all as an expense, and we would have to hire all the sub-branches, security and COVID marshal to accord with.
A man's been arrested accused of starting a grass fire in the Adelaide Hills. It broke out on Stamps Road between Echunga and Mount Barker. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says the blaze destroyed a small amount of grass and shrub.
After searching the area, they've actually located a 29-year-old Mount Barker man who's been arrested for causing that fire. So crime scene investigators are going to attend this morning to assist with the investigation, and he's expected to be charged with offences relating to the fire and the property damage.
A man's been reported for drink driving after being stopped at Paralawi this morning. Police were called to Heather Close after reports a Ford sedan was doing burnouts. They stopped the car nearby and breath tested the driver, who allegedly blew 3 times over the legal limit. The 19-year-old man from Elizabeth Downs has lost his licence for 12 months. His car has also been impounded for 28 days. Iceland, Norway and Denmark have temporarily suspended the use of the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine for a fortnight. There are reports some recipients developed blood clots and a person may have died as a result. Health officials are investigating, but say at this stage no link has been established between the vaccine and blood clots. The European Commission has approved the single-dose coronavirus vaccine made by Johnson & Johnson. Paul Stoffels from Johnson & Johnson says millions of doses will be delivered in the second quarter.
We have a commitment to the EU for 200 million. We now are starting the discussion with the EU on an additional 100 million. We'll have an integrated supply chain in the US and an integrated supply chain in Europe. We will deliver what we promised to Europe.
Prince William is denying accusations the royal family's racist and says he hasn't spoken to his brother since the Sussex's tell-all interview with Oprah. Meghan Markle claims someone in the family raised concerns about the colour of Archie's skin before he was born. The Queen says the matter will be taken seriously. The judge presiding over the trial of Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer accused of killing George Floyd, will reinstate a third-degree murder charge. More from the BBC's Gary O'Donoghue.
This is a significant victory for prosecutors, since a third-degree murder charge is easier to prove than a second-degree one. In essence, they would just have to show that Mr. Chauvin's actions were dangerous and reckless, though not necessarily a felony. If convicted on the second-degree count, the sentence could be up to 40 years in prison. The third-degree charge can carry a sentence of up to 25 years behind bars. Jury selection has already begun, and the trial proper is set to open at the end of the month. Mr. Chauvin denies the charges.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide's Sam Powell-Pepper has been granted time away from the club to deal with a personal crisis. In a statement, Powell-Pepper said there are other parts of his life that need some work. He's expected to return in April. Let's go to basketball. The Adelaide 36ers have given up a first-half lead before going down by 5 points against the Brisbane Bullets. The Sixers led by 6 at the major break and scores were all square at three-quarter time before the Bullets won 109 to 104. To rugby league, reigning premiers Melbourne Storm have kicked off their premiership defence with a 26-18 win over South Sydney. Ryan Pappenhausen was named player of the match for his 2-try effort. The Storm fullback says his side's quick start set up the victory.
That first half, we weren't really expecting that. Sort of just got going on the roll, and the new rule changes, it really changes the momentum of things. And when you've got it, you've just got to complete your sets. And I think we went 12 for 14 at the first half.
To tennis, Roger Federer's been knocked out of the Qatar Open after going down in 3 sets. Meantime, Spaniard Garbine Muguruza is through to the semis at the Dubai Championships after a 3-set win against Arina Sabalenka. Cameron Smith and Mark Leishman are the best placed Aussies in the first round of the Players' Championship in Florida. They're both currently 1 under, 6 shots behind Spaniard Sergio Garcia, who leads at 7 under. And Manchester United's been held to a 1-1 draw in its Europa League clash against AC Milan. Arsenal and Olympiacos are about half hour into their clash with scores locked at 0-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, 2nd year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Speeds have been reduced on the freeway up track due to a truck breakdown just before the tunnels, and it's picking up at Woodville Park, David Terrace from Torrance Road to Belmore Terrace. It's quite busy there. You'll find roadworks at Mitcham, Taylors Road through to Fullerton Road is down to 40 k's, and check your speed at Saints Road, Salisbury Park. At Amart Furniture, buy one, get one half price on a huge range. That's across selected lounges, dining, bedroom and more. Hurry, it's for 1 week only. Rush into Amart today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Electrical, air conditioning, gas, solar or plumbing issues? Call Sharp Services on 131 750.
Sunny and 32 today, morning rain on Saturday 22, partly cloudy for Sunday 19 and more of the same for Monday 21. At the moment 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In the last hour on Adelaide's 5AA.
It is a Friday, so we don't want to start the show on a downer, but I've got to say the Premier's got one job to do today, that's to ring the RSL and fix this absolutely appalling situation where at the same time that the Fringe is on, the festival is on, and we're having 40,000 people attending football matches, that we can't have Anzac Day memorials. I lived in a rental house in Goodwood once, middle of the night, 3 a.m, the doorbell rang. I was there on my own, and I walked down the corridor, and I opened the door, there was no one there, and I thought, there's probably kids. And then I walked back down the corridor to the bedroom. As I walked past the bathroom, my electric toothbrush turned itself on. How weird is that?
That's a ghost with some real commitment to dental hygiene, isn't it? Arman Abrahimzadeh in the studio. The Women on the Run event happens at Grange, doesn't it?
Correct, yeah, we start on Grange. So this is happening next Sunday, the 21st, and the 21st of March is an important date for us. Well, it's a conflicted date because it's our New Year, it's the Persian New Year, it's my mum's birthday, but it's also the date where the incident took place at the convention centre.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 7. What you heard a little bit of there was David telling a spooky story wherein it sounds like he's being haunted by a dentist. But in any case, we're asking for your spooky stories this morning, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. That's a Meat Tray Friday on this Friday morning. We'll get to some more of your calls and entries in just a moment. But first, the biggest talking point in Adelaide this morning is about the decision to cancel 3 of the state's largest suburban dawn services, Brighton, Semaphore and Morphett Vale. The difficulty? Controlling crowd numbers. It's a COVID issue. Cheryl Cates is the president of the RSL here in South Australia in the Northern Territory. Cheryl, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will and David. How are you?
We're good, thank you, Cheryl. Look, can you please help me understand something? How is it that we can have the festival on, the Fringe on? We had WOMAD last weekend. We've got a whole bunch of things. We just caught up with Arman Abrahimzadeh. He's having a fun run in honour of his late mother to raise awareness for domestic violence because that's being held outside. There's no issues whatsoever around COVID. How is it that the most important day on the Australian calendar cannot be observed properly when all these other things are happening?
The most important day on Australia's calendar is going to be observed properly. The dawn services have not been cancelled. They have been moved inside. They have become ticketed events. So they have not been cancelled at all. And
well, no, in terms of the numbers,
but in terms of people, as far as people being able to attend that would expect to be able to go, they can't.
Yes, No. Well, to an extent that they can, under the COVID safe plan, and how many they can have at their RSLs, and whether they can keep the distancing apart. Sure, the three biggest sub branches that have the biggest Anzac Day service cannot do that. How do they control the crowds? And I know that, and I'm a bit over the fringe, the 40,000 for the footy, the however many thousand for the tennis, etc. But these are first and foremost our veterans that we have to worry about.
It's not compulsory that they attend. Why can't the numbers be the same potentially as they are for an event like the Garden or Gluttony or even a football game? No one's saying to veterans you have to go. If they're worried about their own health, they don't have to attend. But for the people, the younger generation who want to keep Anzac alive, why cap it at all? And I mean, I'm not having a go at you. Is there help that you need from the government? Like there's RSLs quoted in the paper today saying that they haven't got the money for things like barriers or so on. Well, let's get the money. This is Anzac Day.
I know it's Anzac Day, and it's not. And please, Anzac Day should never be politicised. Anyway,
we're not politicising it. We're just trying to make sure it happens the way it should when all these other things are happening.
Well, I can't stop the other things, but it's up to our sub-branches. Our sub-branches have been given that they can go ahead and have Anzac Days. It is up to them so long as they accord with the COVID management plan. And some of these sub-branches are not in a position to accord with the COVID management plan.
What do you need to make it happen?
Well, they don't need the funding. People have got the funding, but who's going to pay for all the security, and who's going to, we'll have to put on extra security to have it happen. We'll have to
See, I think this is where there's the disconnect. No one in this room or listening right now is saying you guys should have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
What we're saying is the government should step in and make sure these things can happen, because they have an obligation to keep everyone safe, one, but also I think they've got an obligation to make sure that we can observe our most important day in the way that we've grown accustomed. So no one's saying the RSL's done anything wrong here. We just want to make sure that you can get the help required to get this going in the way that we all want it to happen.
Well, it is still going ahead. That's the thing, but it's been on a reduced scale. The numbers on a reduced scale. People can still commemorate throughout the day by going to the sub-branches throughout the day.
Cheryl, we had the police commissioner on the program yesterday who, in a nutshell, said to us there's nothing that prevents Anzac Day being observed this year in the traditional way. And you can't say that people can still do it when you've got your various RSLs saying that instead of attracting, 10, 20, 30,000 people, it's going to be capped to like 1,000. That's the whole point. That's what people are upset about.
I understand that, but I mean, first and foremost, we have our veterans to worry about being young, and younger, and the older ones. If one of them contracted COVID, and now it's in, again, now it's all blasted, it's in the waterways.
But it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. This is the whole point.
Yeah, but how are you going to stop those veterans, those ones that deserve to be marching and attending these? How are you going to stop them?
Sorry, is there some COVID cluster down at Semaphore that they've kept quiet and we don't know about? Because as far as I can tell, nothing happening in Semaphore COVID-wise, or in Morphett Vale, or in Brighton.
No, fair enough point.
It sounds like you just sort of raised the white flag a bit too quickly on this one, Cheryl.
No, we haven't raised a white flag at all. We are going ahead with Anzac Day. It will not be in the normal sense. And first and foremost, we have our veterans to consider.
Have you spoken to SA Health and said, look, what are the rules? What can we do?
Our chairman of our Anzac Day committee, Mr. Ian Smith, has been working with SA Health and the police commissioner in regards to numbers and things like that. He's about to come out even more with another video on our social media saying what can be achieved and what can't be, and we're taking it day by day and what's happening in the state.
Have you tried to speak to the Premier to get any help as well, like to take it to a higher level, given how important Anzac Day is to people?
I have spoken with the Premier. I spoke with the Premier a couple of weeks ago. He doesn't. He believes that it can still go ahead when we can have crowds of like we've had, et cetera, throughout other states who are a lot worse than what we are. However, when you come to put in your COVID safe plan, if you don't comply with the numbers and in some of the size of some of these sub branches and that, well, you can't do it.
So subsequent to that conversation with the Premier and having realised that you can't satisfy the COVID plan in all these different places, have you spoken to anyone and asked for special treatment or any form of extra help?
No, we haven't, actually. No, we haven't.
Okay. Because I think you should get it.
Yeah.
And so does everyone listening. And that's what no one wants to go to war with the RSL, but we just want to make sure that did the government get asked and did they say no? And if they haven't said no, well, I think there's still a chance that this can happen then surely if they step in and help you guys out, which is what they should do, which is what should happen, and hopefully it's what happens over the course of today. Cheryl, thank you. We're getting a million calls about this. Cheryl Cates is the president of the RSL in South Australia and the NT. Johnny is in Torrensville. Morning, Johnny.
Morning, guys. How you going?
Good, mate.
I think they should just ring up and just let everyone know they're going to do a protest, and the police will have to show up and make sure that everyone's safe.
Yeah, well, that's worked before.
Anzac Lives Matter.
Thank you, Johnny. Tash, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thank you, Tash.
Look, I am a very proud daughter of a Vietnam veteran. I am also a proud mother of a serving current serviceman, and I am also a proud auntie of 3 nephews who are currently serving in the Defence Force. I cannot understand how South Australia cannot allow us to have our normal Anzac Day commemorative things that we would normally have done. When you go to Queensland, they are going back to their normal. They are having a normal Anzac Day. Everything that was previously before COVID is going back to normal. Sydney, the government are working with their RSL over there to make it as normal as possible. Victoria, where they have had the outbreak, they too are over there working with their RSLs to try and get even a cap of, I think it's 5,000 for an Anzac Day march. Here in South Australia, our government, he loves to have the WOMAD, he loves to have the Mad March, the Fringe, the football, the basketballs, the international tennis players. But hang on a minute. Oh, no, not the RSL. We can't do this with the RSL. We can't do, what is going on with the state? Like, I am also a health worker. I understand that we need to protect our elderly, but this has gone beyond a joke.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to us either, Tash. No. Thank you for the call. We'll take some more. Jeff in Theberton, good morning.
Good morning, mate. That's not very good, is it?
No, not at all.
Far from it.
Not at all.
Mate, I'm really peed off. Last year I wasn't allowed to march, in my dad's place. That's okay because last year was pretty bloody bad. But I've been doing this every year since he died 26 years ago. I march in his place, at his medals. And this year I'm not allowed to.
No.
Why not? That's outside, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Absolutely.
What's the matter with this mob?
I'd
hate to be in the trenches with that woman. She'd be saying there's too many people in here. One of you will have to get out.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good point.
Ash in Colonel Light Gardens, good morning.
Good morning. The two of you, your line of questioning is absolutely disgraceful.
Oh, yeah, why is that?
Because you've just gone and attacked the president of the RSL for things that are out of her control. She's just trying to do the right thing by constituents that are members. And you two come along and think that, it should be willy-nilly, everyone's allowed to march. Yeah, you know what, we've all had people who have served, and sure, we'd love to go. But if you're half smart about it, you let those that really need to go first.
I think it's a total misreading of the interview, Ash. We were trying to get to the bottom of what the situation is. And there's a lot of people who...
attacking it, and it clearly came across like that.
Well, sorry we upset your precious feelings, mate.
Mate, you're a cockhead.
Thank you, Ash.
Ash, the angry guy from Colonel Light Gardens.
All right,
about that?
Let's... there's a component of this conversation that continues with the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Nicola Spurrier, because some of this seems to be born out of the mother of all communications breakdowns. Dr. Spurrier, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, what's the advice that's been given to the RSL with regard to Anzac Day from SA Health's perspective?
Can I just say to Jeff that I would never throw anybody out of a trench? But anyway, safety first.
Exactly.
Look, I haven't myself had any direct conversations with the RSL, but what we do have in South Australia is a COVID management plan committee, and I'm a member of that. And whenever we have a large event, more than 1,000 people, we have a process to work with the organisers of that event to make it COVID safe. And we've done that with, as people have appreciated with the football, with Adelaide Oval, with all of the festival and fringe events. So we absolutely want to do the same with the Anzac events, because I absolutely agree with people calling in. It's very important. It means a lot to many people, and I enjoy going to those events as well and supporting our returned servicemen and women. So as people have mentioned, they're outdoor events, so in one way, it reduces any transmission around COVID. So we will continue to work with any of the organisers to be able to run those events in a COVID-safe way, the way that we've run many events here in South Australia. But at the end of the day, it is up to the individual organisers to say whether or not they want to make those steps and work with us, or whether they've determined that perhaps it's too risky because of the people and of course there are older people involved in many of these Anzac Day events. So I can say hand on heart that we will continue, and I'm very confident we will have Anzac Day events in South Australia.
Do you think, Professor Spurrier, because it sounds like the RSL in this case might have just gone, look, this is all too hard. Do you think maybe it's less hard than they think? And do you, given that you quite rightly have recognised, and indeed sounds like you share the public concern about the fact that it may not go ahead to the extent that it possibly could, do you think you could talk to your committee and say, look, what's going on with Anzac Day? Because people are generally upset.
I think that's exactly what I will do. And with our COVID management plans, it's not, we don't say to people, look, you just go away and come up with the goods. We actually work with people and try and do things hand in hand, so we're assisting. So I'll have a look into this today. I mean, I saw that was in the news overnight, and I think it's really important that we do have these sorts of celebrations, and I think we can do them safely.
Yeah, well, that's good news. So there's still a pulse in this, which is what we hope for coming into this to this morning. Now, let's talk about some of the bigger picture questions about the vaccine rollout at the moment. There's a suggestion now out of Canberra, Dr. Spurrier, that we might not have the population vaccinated with both doses until early next year. What are you hearing with regard to when we can expect the South Australian population to be entirely vaccinated?
So we're still aiming for the end of October, and it is important that we get people vaccinated as quickly as possible. Now, we are going through the phases, as people are aware. If you go to our website, we're following the Commonwealth recommendations of who we vaccinate first and in what order. And we're also, of course, the Commonwealth is assisting us through bringing the vaccine into our state and distributing it. So it's been a slightly slower start than perhaps we anticipated, but what I can say, it's being done very safely, and our local health networks are doing a very good job getting the frontline workers vaccinated. We've got our ambulance staff coming on board, and they will be vaccinated very soon as well, and we're working through all of those groups. One of the things that may hold us up if there's any supply issues, so if we have any difficulty getting the vaccines into Australia, we're very, very lucky that we've got CSL here in Victoria that are producing the AstraZeneca vaccine. So I think I think it's good that we keep the end of October target in mind, and we will do everything we can in South Australia to achieve that.
Everyone will wake up this morning and hear the news that some of the Nordic countries have suspended the distribution of AstraZeneca vaccine for fear of its relation to the causing of blood clots in people. That's alarming for people to wake up to. What should they understand about that case, and what have you learned about it?
Yes, so I've just had the same, woken up to the same news. And I know that ATAGI and the TGA will be looking at this very closely today, and I'm expecting we'll have a briefing from the Commonwealth about it. When you have any new vaccine, you're always needing to monitor adverse events, and of course we're doing that in South Australia through our immunisation branch in our department. And when you think of a population, there are always these sorts of things that can happen in a population. So there'll be people who do have problems with blood clots, and that just happens. And so what we now need to do is have a look at the data coming from those countries, and that's why they've obviously or presumably paused their rollout to have a chance to look at the data to see if there's any temporal relationship between the vaccine and that adverse event. And these things are not black and white. There's always some grey, but we just need to have a good look at that data, and I'm sure we'll be getting briefed on that today.
Good stuff. Professor Nicola Spurrier, the Chief Public Health Officer, thanks very much for joining us again on 5AA.
Thank you very much.
I'm still totally stunned about everything that's happened in the last 20 minutes on this program.
Me too.
I mean, I kind of expected we'd be speaking to the RSL this morning who would outline the fact that they'd had to deal with a government that wasn't willing to give them the help required to make this sort of thing happen. And everything that came after that was the opposite of what we expected to hear.
Yeah.
That was...
Well, I think the good news is that Nicola Spurrier is going to talk to the RSL, because as I said, it sounds like they've just given up.
It sounds like the government's totally open to try to make this happen.
Yeah. Well, it would be good to hear from the Premier on it. I mean, this is one thing that is so important in Australia that people are understandably upset that it's not going to be going ahead as it could under the COVID rules. If it's a question of funding, as some of the RSLs have said, then let's do it. There's no suggestion of compulsion. No older veteran is going to be forced to take part in it. If you're worried about your health, then don't go. But for people like Jeff in Theberton who wants to march in his dad's medals,
or Tash with the 4 family members,
and where these things are happening, there's no COVID there anyway. So let's just find a way to make it work.
Time to check traffic. Thanks to Dave Potter Honda, Australia's #1 Honda dealer for a second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
Speeds have been reduced on the freeway up track due to a truck breakdown just before the tunnels, and it's picking up at Woodville Park, David Terrace from Torrance Road to Belmore Terrace. It's quite busy there. You'll find roadworks at Mitcham, Taylors Road through to Fullerton Road is down to 40 k's, and check your speed at Saints Road, Salisbury Park. At Amart Furniture, buy one, get one half price on a huge range. That's across selected lounges, dining, bedroom and more. Hurry, it's for 1 week only. Rush into Amart today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Well, once again...
Leon Biner.
Taxpayers, that's you and I, we're going to bankroll 800,000 half-price airfares under a stimulus package designed to shield aviation and tourism and throws what the government hopes will be a pretty good lifeline to regional economies.
9 till 12 weekdays.
Federal Tourism Minister Dan Tehan.
This is a very well-targeted package which will support jobs in the tourism sector.
On 5AA.
Australia's best fantasy footy game, KFC Supercoach AFL, is back. And there's 50 grand in cash up for grabs. That's 50,000 reasons to win. Register today at supercoach.com.au. Conditions apply. ACT permit number TP21/00040.
We're convinced that Ivan Milat is responsible for many other crimes, and we're going to prove it.
Sunday, what 7 News uncovers will make world headlines.
This is the deepest anyone has ever done into Ivan Milat's killing ground.
The groundbreaking new approach.
Extraordinary technology. It's like having X-ray vision.
How many more has he killed, and where are the bodies?
This arc of evil.
This will change everything we thought we knew about Milat.
Ivan Milat, Buried Secrets. Sunday, 7 o'clock on 7.
Get a new Nissan Navara STX dual cab 4x4 manual from only $55,790 drive away for ABN buyers, and get a genuine Nissan tow bar. Test drive the new Nissan Navara today. T's and C's apply.
Now, there's quite a few stages in life, but it's not until you get to the 19th that things really become about you. Welcome to the 19th at West, a long-awaited home and land collection offering uninterrupted views across the manicured fairways of the Grange Golf Club and the tree-lined linear park walking trails.
Act now and secure your pre-launch viewing of this premium home and land release. Will and I were there a couple of Fridays ago. It's fantastic. You can choose from a curated selection of fixed-price Torrens title packages, each of them meticulously designed to make the most of this coveted location.
This is a rare opportunity to live a luxury lifestyle in your own architecturally designed home by Williams Burton Leopardi. It's an unrepeatable opportunity, so make sure you are a part of it. Visit the19thwest.com.au.
My name is Nixon and I like St Andrew's School.
St Andrew's School is a place where I can learn, understand and grow.
They help me learn about my division.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Patrick, school captain at St Andrew's School. Mid-year entry is approaching. Join the principal for a tour on Thursday, the 18th of March at 9 a.m. or Saturday, the 20th of March at 10 a.m. Just Google St Andrew's School.
For over 36 years, Steinborner certified cars has always exceeded expectations on value, service and selection, and that continues. That's why it's always well worth a trip to Steinborner certified cars in Gawler, Nuriotpa and Clare for great deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford and Mitsubishis, plus SA's biggest and best range of used cars. Make the trip to one of Steinborner's 8 dealerships or view the whole range of cars now at steinborner.com.au and join the thousands who know. Steinborner certified cars. It's well worth the trip.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Right on 7:30, time to talk sport. Thanks to North Point Toyota, their used vehicle stock constantly changing. Pop in and take a look. It's the North Point way. You had your leave Brittany alone moment with the Adelaide Crows yesterday, saying everyone should just lay off, including Warren Treadray. You had a bit of a tete-a-tete on Twitter after the fact, and Stephen Rowe jumped into the conversation on his program yesterday.
It must be back football because there was a little bit of argy-bargy on the 5AA Brekkie show. Now, it's on the back of this. Warren Treadray on the show yesterday. He had a fair crack at the Crows, let's just call it the collective recruitment and list management. He didn't really single out anyone, it's the collective. He spoke some home truths. Now, on Tuesday, we had Bill Sanders, former Crows CEO and chair, a very measured and strong voice of behind the scenes with the club. He questioned bottoming out as a list strategy. Now, we love him, and we love his passion. Penbo. I am 100% in support of the players and the coaches. I've not once had a negative word to say about them. Nor did Bill Sanders, and nor did Warren Treadray. This is not on them. Listen to Treaders again. This is on recruitment and retention as to where they are now, okay?
Care to respond, Mr. Penberthy?
No, I'm having a great little, very tongue-in-cheek Twitter battle with Treaders at the moment. He wrote to me last night going, mate, the way the Crows are going, you might be half a chance of getting a game. So we, the 3 years I spent hiding in the back pocket, Marion High School might come in handy.
Yeah, I think they've.
No, I love Treaders. I just, someone's got to fly the flag. My comments were aimed more at the fans. Like, how often do you see people already going, "Oh, gee, it's going to be a long year"? In an official sense, it hasn't started yet.
No. Do you think they're wrong though?
That's
in
not
your
the
heart
point.
of hearts,
That's not
do you
the point,
think they're
Will.
wrong?
In Nixie we trust.
Okay.
Forged in the steel of the disaster area that was the Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
2005. Swans premiers. He'll get us there.
The all-new hybrid Kluger's coming to North Point Toyota. Register your interest today. It's the North Point way.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 32 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Bratty.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
SA Suburban Dawn services will take on a different look this year. Outdoor services at Brighton, Semaphore and Morford Vale have been scrapped and will instead be held in RSL club rooms for members and invited guests. RSL State President Cheryl Cates says the decision wasn't taken lightly.
First and foremost, and what people don't understand is we have a responsibility to our veterans and in particular our ageing veterans. If one of our veterans was to take ill, who's going to come to the RSL's rescue then?
But Chief Public Health Officer Nicola Spurrier says she's keen to work with the RSL on the matter.
Whenever we have a large event, more than 1,000 people, we have a process to work with the organisers of that event to make it COVID safe. And we've done that with the football, with Adelaide Oval, with all of the festival and fringe events. So we absolutely want to do the same with the Anzac event.
A man's been charged over a suspicious grass fire at Flaxley in the Adelaide Hills this morning. The blaze broke out at the intersection of Davidson Road and Stamps Road just after 1:30. It burnt a small amount of grass and scrub. A 29-year-old Mount Barker man was arrested nearby. Growing tension between the ambulance union and the state government over funding has forced the Employment Tribunal to step in. The union's been ordered by a judge into mediation. Treasurer Rob Lucas says both sides need to compromise.
We're prepared to compromise. We are prepared to offer additional resources, but the union has to now be prepared to compromise as well. They need to agree to some form of roster reform and meal break reform.
The EU's medicines regulator says there's currently no indication the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine is linked to an increased risk of blood clots. Iceland, Denmark and Norway are temporarily suspending use of the jab, following reports a small number of people developed clots. But the European Medicines Agency says cases in vaccinated people are no higher than in the general population. Quarantine-free travel from Auckland is resuming. The New Zealand city's COVID hotspot declaration has been lifted. States and territories can still impose different conditions or arrangements for arrivals. The Duke of Cambridge is hitting back against allegations of racism in the royal family. More from Nine's Kari-Anne Greenbank in London.
Prince William has defended the royal family against Harry and Meghan's claims of racism in the first public comment by a senior royal since the Oprah interview aired. While on a tour of a school in London, the Duke of Cambridge said the royal family is very much not a racist family and said he hadn't spoken to his brother Harry since the interview but intended to do so. It comes days after a statement from the Queen aimed at calming tensions after the couple's explosive claims.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Sam Powell-Pepper has been granted some personal leave from Port Adelaide to deal with some issues. He's not expected back until at least next month. It's likely he won't return to the team until round 3. Still on football, and excitement is building ahead of the start of the season. Geelong's Patrick Dangerfield says he'll be ready to take on the Crows after battling a persistent groin injury during the off-season.
They're feeling really good right now. Look, there's different challenges throughout the season. No one goes into the back end of the year without different niggles that they carry along and pick up throughout the season.
Ryan Pappenhausen has starred for the Melbourne Storm in last night's NRL season opener against South Sydney. He scored a couple of tries as they won 26-18. Coach Craig Bellamy enthusiastic about his side's first outing without the retired Cam Smith.
It's a big question mark over us, with Cameron retiring, and we're going to miss him in a lot of areas. I was really proud of the way they handled it tonight, especially our leaders. The pleasing thing is, I think we've got plenty of improvement in this footy team.
The Adelaide 36ers have gone down 109-104 against the Brisbane Bullets in the NBL overnight. Manchester United's been held to a 1-1 draw against AC Milan in the Europa League, and Roger Federer's been knocked out of the Qatar Open after losing in 3 sets. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter's Mad March demo clearance is on now, with huge savings and factory bonuses across the range.
A truck has broken down on the freeway up track just before the tunnels. Speeds have been reduced. It's busy at Carolta Park on South Road from Forest Avenue through to Richmond Road, and you'll find roadworks at Mitcham, Taylors Road through to Fullerton Road. Speeds are down to 40 k's. Check your speed at Sturt Highway, Nuriupta. Telstra's 7-day price match is here. If you find a better price on a range of phones within 7 days of purchase, Telstra will credit your bill. T's and C's apply. Visit telstra.com/price match. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Electrical, air conditioning, gas, solar or plumbing issues? Call Sharp Services on 131 750.
Sunny and 32 today, morning rain developing tomorrow down to 22, then partly cloudy for Sunday, 19 and 21 for Monday. At the moment, 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to 8. Phil Curry will be on from the Fin Review in just a moment. We'll get a look at the weekend's weather as well. And remember, we've got a meat tray to give away. It being a Friday morning, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. We're asking you about spooky stories after our interview with the psychic medium earlier in the week that located the lost pet. What are your unexplained happenings? 8223 0000. Geez, we've got a lot of texts coming through on the Telstra Store Matt Barker text line.
We have got a mountain of text, and I think some people are missing the point. We weren't trying to put that woman through the ringer, Cheryl Cates from the RSL. We're trying to actually get to the bottom of why it is that when all of these other events are going on, something as sacred as...
It wasn't an accusation.
But she was the one, she was super defensive from the start. And it was like, to say it hasn't been cancelled, it's like, well, okay, it hasn't been cancelled. It's just that nobody can go other than the 1,000 who are allowed to. Like, there's clearly a problem here. And our understanding is that other people in politics have reached out to the RSL saying, is there anything we can do to help? And have had a similarly defensive response along the lines of, no, it's all fine. The decision's been made, that's it. And the heartening thing, the best thing that happened in the last half hour was the very generous reassurance from Professor Spurrier that she's going to talk to the committee that manages this and try to find a solution. Because it does sound, and overwhelmingly the text that we're getting are saying, it sounds like the RSL has just thrown its hands in the air and said, this is all too hard. Well, that's the problem, because people are upset by that. They want some leadership on this, and they want the people who run the state to go, all right, we need to find a way to make this work.
It's got a pulse. These services have a pulse.
They do, yeah.
Spurrier said they're going to have a chat about it later today.
Exactly.
Phil Curry is in Canberra, Philip, and joins us from the Fin Review. Morning to you, Phil.
Morning, fellas.
How you going, Phil? What's happening in Canberra?
Oh, just everyone's getting ready for the next fortnight. I think it's going to be pretty messy. Parliament sits next week and the week after, and that's the last time for about till the May budget. So, a lot of things aren't going well for the government. The vaccine rollout's slower than they hoped, and we've got the ongoing problems with Christian Porter and Linda Reynolds and stuff. So, everyone's digging in for a pretty ugly fortnight.
Yeah, what's the PM going to do, do you think, in terms of Christian Porter's off and obviously that harrowing press conference that he held last week where he said that he didn't know if he was all right and he needed to get some mental health assistance. Obviously, Linda Reynolds is still crook and she's in the middle of the cloud over the staffer who says that she's been raped. Can you see them both coming back to their same positions?
Not really, not in the long term. There's a lot of talk around Linda Reynolds not coming back into the defence portfolio, but things shifted. The Prime Minister's really dug in behind Christian Porter, insisting he'll be back, and that he's done nothing wrong in the eyes of the law, so therefore, business as usual. And he's still just been called for some sort of independent inquiry just to ascertain, whether Porter is fit to be Attorney General in a political sense rather than a legal sense. So that's the sort of status quo, but I think, it's too early to be predictive how it's going to end up. The Porter issue is cutting deep out in the electorate. Everyone seems to be talking about it. The views are different. With the Brittany Higgins affair, this is the staffer to Linda Reynolds, to talk to both the political parties, and in the first few days, the sort of general reaction was, what's going on up there, in terms of the sort of people pretty critical of the whole parliament and the culture, but then that sort of turned into, after a few days, well, why doesn't she go to the police? So it didn't really sort of damage the government in the political sense. But this one is cutting really deep. And there's going to be a news poll out on Monday, and the government is basically as one said to me, we're going to take a bit of a bath on this news poll on Monday. So their own sort of feedback is not good. So I think it depends, though, on how serious the political damage is and how long term it's going to be. The PM's view is going to tough out this Porter thing, and the caravan will move on. And as so often does in politics, new things come along, and we all get distracted by it. So I think it's a bit, it's sort of all a bit up in the air at the moment.
Yeah. Good stuff, Phil. The line was a bit wobbly there. Apologies to the listeners. Thanks for that, mate. We'll catch up again next week. Phil Curry from the Fin Review.
17 to 8, Dave Potter's Mad March demo clearance is on now with huge savings and factory bonuses across the range.
Speeds have been reduced on the freeway up track just before the tunnels due to a broken down truck. It's picking up along South Road at Carolta Park from Forest Avenue through to Richmond Road, and you'll find roadworks Athelston Gorge Road near Stradbroke Road and Oaklands Park, Morfett Road near Diagonal Road. Check your speed at Murray Road, Williston. Don't blink or you'll miss it. The Snooze Flash Sale is now on. Half price on selected mattresses and bed frames. Hurry, sale ends Sunday. It's amazing what a little snooze can do. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang curtains and 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang blinds. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery has sold out early once again. Thank you, South Australia, for your incredible support. On March 30th, there will be 15,000 winners, and one of them will be living mortgage-free on the Esplanade at Henley Beach. When you purchase a ticket in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery, you join the fight for cures, better treatments, and improved care. The Hospital Research Foundation. Together, fight. Best of luck to everyone in the draws. Licence M13939.
The Isuzu D-Max is born to live. You can go your own way. With 3.5 ton towing, you can bring all the toys. Get off-road and play with 4x4 terrain command and a rear diff lock. And rock out with Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Plus, with a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, the 3-litre turbo diesel Isuzu D-Max is born to live. Search Isuzu D-Max.
Hi, my name is Melanie. I'm a registered nurse. Australia's COVID-19 vaccination program is underway with Phase 1A, including those most at risk in our community. Healthcare workers, quarantine, aged care and disability workers and the people they look after in care accommodation. To ensure the best protection, they must be given 2 doses. To find out when it's your turn, go to australia.gov.au.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Your caravan is a huge investment, so when you get a little close to a tree branch or veranda, it cuts deep. But did you know your insurance should cover that? And Walker Crash Repairs will fix it right and on time. Walker Crash Repairs. Caravans, cars and 4-wheel drives. See our customer reviews online. You can always relax on the road with Walker Crash Repairs. Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved crash repairer for caravans and cars.
Jane pops into ACH Group to have a cuppa and a chat with exercise physiologist Jack about health services across ACH Group.
What are the benefits of a great exercise program?
Exercise has many benefits to health, so cardiovascular improvements to your heart function, as well as musculoskeletal, joint pain, arthritis. It's definitely beneficial for many health conditions.
To find out how ACH Group can support you to live a good life, visit achgroup.org.au.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to not deal with organising all the trades? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? 2, the largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers. Plus, we can manage the installation and all sub-trades at a fixed price. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
13 to 8. It's warming up. Going to be a hot one today. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News has all the info for your weekend. Morning to you, Amelia.
Good morning, guys, and good morning, Friday, you delicious day of the week. I'm so happy it's finally here. We've got some really Friday-y weather as well. 32 degrees, the forecast top, sunny. Not really even windy either. If you're down by the coast, it looks like it might be quite a nice morning down that way too. 34 degrees, the forecast top at Elizabeth. Enjoy it. Beautiful day to end the working week because a change is unfortunately on the way. So we've got a low of 17 degrees into Saturday. Then we see that change tomorrow. We are expecting morning rain, but we could maybe see 1 to 5 millimetres worth. It'll also be a lot cooler, 22 degrees the forecast top, but we'll really notice those cool conditions on Sunday. Just 19 degrees. I know you kind of hear 19 degrees. You're like, round it up, it's close to 20. But we'll have these southerly winds at play, and that'll kind of really bump up the chill factor. I really honestly, if we do hit 19 degrees that day, it won't be for long, and we certainly won't feel particularly warm. But then we gradually warm up next week. Monday, the forecast top's 21, up to 29 degrees by Thursday. So a slight hiccup, but the moral of the story is enjoy Friday.
Absolutely. Good on you,
I'm
Amelia.
excited. Later today, I'm going to head down to Mitre 10 there on Unley Road, pick up a big bag of lawn fertiliser.
I love your Mitre 10 adventures.
I do know how to party. It's going to be great. Get the old spreader out, walk around in circles for a while in the backyard. Great fun. You got a spreader, Will? He doesn't even know what a spreader is.
Drinks.
I think Will thinks a spreader is something you use to put your pate onto your water cracker.
I was just about 5 different jokes went through my head, and I decided not to use
None
any
of them. Were good.
No, I just thought none of them are appropriate. Good on you, Amelia.
Thank you, Amelia.
See you guys.
Have a great weekend.
Amelia Mokke from 7 News. Yeah.
I don't even want to know what they were in the ad break.
11 minutes to 8 and it's time for John Blake.
Yes, good morning. Well, the big shock this week was Sam Armitage has left Sunrise.
Sam Armitage has left Sunrise, and 'cause she didn't look surprised, it's over.
And, of course, Victorian Premier Dan Andrews slipped and fell down his wet stairs.
Down, he fell down, Andrews fell down, yeah. Down, he fell down, Andrews fell down. Yes, he fell down, because he slipped on the stairs, because they were really wild. And he got booted, yeah.
And the host of Good Morning Britain, Piers Morgan, who used to be friends with Meghan Markle, got fed up, spat the dum-dum, did a walkout and left ITV.
Funny, Piers Morgan spat the dummy and he stormed off ITV. What a debacle, used to like Meghan Markle, but she no longer talks to him.
And our favourite people, the Extinction Rebellion, were at it again. They glued themselves to Flinders Street and climbed up on the Santos building, sprayed their windows, yelled at people about climate change, and that was that, really.
They say that we're deranged, cause we hate climate change. But with an ugly smirk, we'll stop you from going to work. Here's what we will do. Attach ourselves with glue, then let off some flares. Some say they should leave us there. We're too blind to see. Give it a rest. There's no emergency. Under arrest. So what will we do? Let me guess. Vandalize and then shoot through.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Blakey, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast on 13 13 64. 8223 is our number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line or watch along on the Facebook or YouTube live feeds. We'll get to some of your feedback in just a moment.
Been missing live events? Adelaide Fringe is back for 2021. There's over 800 events to choose from in over 275 venues. So what will you see this year? With so much choice, there's never been a better time to fringe your way. But make sure you book early because capacities are limited. Adelaide Fringe from Feb 19 to March 21. To book your tickets, head to adelaidefringe.com.au. Thanks to Principal Partner, Bank SA.
The 19th West, a premium home and land collection with front row views of the Grange Golf Club's manicured fairways and the tree-lined Linear Park walking trails. Secure your pre-launch appointment today. Visit the19thwest.com.au.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery has sold out early once again. Thank you, South Australia, for your incredible support. On March 30th, there will be 15,000 winners, and one of them will be living mortgage-free on the Esplanade at Henley Beach. When you purchase a ticket in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery, you join the fight for cures, better treatments, and improved care. The Hospital Research Foundation. Together, fight. Best of luck to everyone in the draws. Licence M13939.
We're convinced that Ivan Milat is responsible for many other crimes, and we're going to prove it.
Sunday, what 7 News uncovers will make world headlines.
This is the deepest anyone has ever dug into Ivan Milat's killing ground.
The groundbreaking new approach.
Extraordinary technology. It's like having X-ray vision.
How many more has he killed, and where are the bodies?
This arc of evil.
This will change everything we thought we knew about Milat.
Ivan Milat, Buried Secrets. Sunday, 7 o'clock on 7.
G'day, it's Bix here at Jarvis Toyota. I've come for a test drive of the all-new Toyota Hilux. Now, the new Hilux is just amazing. It's got more power, better fuel economy, it's packed with intelligent safety features, plus it comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. Great for my old school playlist. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Hilux. Come for a test drive and take home the feeling. Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park.
There's no blueprints to your new custom-built Beechwood home. Well, not yet anyway. But together with Beechwood, it won't take long to turn your ideas into sketches, then drawings, and finally a home you can live a beautiful life in. That's the really exciting thing about building with Beechwood Homes. They'll build the home you want. So collect your thoughts, your ideas, your Pinterest boards, whatever, and let's talk. Because life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 8, breaking at 8, not too far away. And then in the last hour of the program this week, we're chatting with the lawyer for the Spanish man who went to the Woodville Pizza Bar, triggered a statewide lockdown. He wants to clear his name, says he was misrepresented, has had an opportunity to do so. We'll get into that after 8 o'clock. But we also have a meat tray to give away, being a Friday morning, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. One of your spooky stories, unexplained stories this morning. We spoke with a psychic medium who found a lost pet earlier in the week. The owner of the pet was sceptical, then couldn't argue with the results. Diane in Paralawi, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your scary tale, Diane?
Okay, I've got a story. I went overseas and I bought a couple of handbags, as I always did. I showed my sister one of them she absolutely loved, and I said to her, look, you can't have that one. That's my favourite. You can have this other one. And she wasn't really happy. Anyway, within a few weeks, she died. I used that handbag when I went to the funeral. Now, a few nights later, we had a walk-in wardrobe. My husband and I were in a dead sleep, and about just after 2 o'clock in the morning, there was this bang. And we both woke up, and we just lay there for a bit. Nothing else happened, so we went back to sleep. When I got up in the morning, in the wardrobe, I had all my handbags in a line on this wire racking that had a 2-inch lip along the edge, and that handbag was actually on the floor.
Seriously?
Oh.
Yeah, and if it was just me that woke up and heard it, I would have thought, oh, maybe I was having a dream or something. But it actually woke my husband up.
So you don't think it just fell down, Diane? You think
it couldn't? It had the ledge was one of those handbag ledges, and it was wire, and it was like, say, 9 inches wide with like a 2-inch lip. There's no way that you could just fall down in the middle of the night.
Sounds like that movie, was it Poltergeist, where all of the things in the house became
that's
animated?
Spooky. Diane, great call. Thank you. 8223 the number for the meat trade. Probably got time just for a couple of texts.
Yeah, no.
The chat with the RSL continues to divide opinion.
Yeah, one here saying the RSL Cheryl came to your interview in an aggressive/defensive manner. I don't think aggressive is right. It was defensive, I'd say. But I do agree that they seem to have flown the white flag. Obviously, we just want to get to the bottom of all of this. one here saying the government needs to step in and sort out and provide COVID-safe plans for all RSL branches.
Yeah.
They need to completely cover all financial costs if required and the logistics associated with a major event. That way the RSL can just do what they usually do. If government can do it for footy, fringe, tennis, WOMAD, the least they can do is for Anzac Day. That is exactly our point.
Exactly.
I think that's what the community wants. And when we say the government, we mean us as taxpayers.
Yeah.
I'm happy for my taxes to be used, paying for barriers and security guards and whatever it takes that these services can go.
Unfortunately, Cheryl Coates, the president of the RSL, has read the comments online and heard everyone saying, well, why, if it's good enough for Adelaide Oval and the Fringe, why is it good enough? Taking that as an attack on the RSL, when in fact
no one's attacking the RSL.
People were attacking the government, saying there must be an inconsistency. But what became clear in the interview, there hasn't been a whole lot of communication around trying to make this thing happen.
No.
But that will change today. 5AA News on the way, then breaking at 8.
Why does Fluorio milk taste so good? Well, it only has one ingredient, milk. Real milk from real cows that live on a real farm run by real farmers.
G'day, I'm a real farmer.
No preservatives, no additives, no fillers, just 100% milk from local cows. That's why Fluorio milk tastes so good. Look for Fluorio Milk Company's range of milk, yogurts, flavoured milk and pouring cream at independent supermarkets and the Adelaide Central Market.
The Isuzu D-Max is born to live. With wireless Apple CarPlay, a rear diff lock, 3.5-ton towing, plus a 5-star ANCAP safety rating. Search Isuzu D-Max.
We keep up to date with the renting legislation, so you don't have to. Hi, Susanna Toop here from Toop & Toop. As COVID-19 continues to impact everyone in our community, what is needed now more than ever is clarity. At Toop & Toop, we've opened up our weekly real estate radio show, so you can get expert advice at any time. Give us a call on 8362 8888 or go to toop.com.au/landlord advice. We're here to support you if you have any questions.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang curtains and 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang blinds. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
For most business PC brands, a 4-hour service guarantee means they'll call you back in 4 hours. But at Leader Computers, a 4-hour service guarantee on Leader's business range means they'll come to your worksite and have you back in business inside 4 hours. Leader Computers are local, made here in Adelaide with better service, better support and speedy turnaround times. Live life local. Live life Leader. Leader Computers. Find your local dealer at leadersystems.com.au.
You miss the littlest things when you're away from home. Like that perfectly brewed cuppa in your favourite mug. At Bupa, we want you to be as comfortable as possible. And because life happens, we'll support your health and well-being by offering rehab and chemo in the comfort of your own home. To learn more, search Bupa. Bupa. Because life happens. Available to eligible customers on selected products. Waiting periods, fund, policy and program rules apply.
At Specsavers, we know we could all use a spare pair.
Where are my glasses?
Luckily, you can get 2 designer pairs, no gap, from the $199 single vision range with selected health funds. Only at Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Online, on DAB digital radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 32 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brattig.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. physioextra.com.
There's disappointment at the RSL's decision to scrap 3 of the state's largest outdoor dawn services this year because of difficulties in meeting COVID rules. Services at Brighton, Semaphore and Morford Vale will instead be held inside club rooms for members and invited guests. Chief Public Health Officer Nicola Spurrier says she'll be getting in touch with the RSL today to see if there's some way they can proceed.
We will continue to work with any of the organisers to be able to run those events in a COVID-safe way, the way that we've run many events here in South Australia. But at the end of the day, it is up to the individual organisers whether they've determined that perhaps it's too risky because of the older people involved in many of these Anzac Day events.
The ambulance union's been ordered into mediation with the state government. The SA Employment Tribunals issued the direction amid an ongoing funding dispute. Treasurer Rob Lucas has welcomed the decision.
Any mediation in any dispute, both sides have got to be prepared to compromise. The government is prepared to compromise. It's now time for the union to do two things. They've got to stop the industrial action, and secondly, they need to agree to roster reform and meal break reform as well.
Prince William says the royal family is very much not a racist family, as he spoke publicly about his brother's tell-all interview for the first time. Prince Harry and Meghan claim an unnamed royal raised concerns about what colour their son Archie's skin might be before he was born. The Duke of Cambridge says he hasn't spoken to his brother since the interview, but plans to do so. Iceland, Denmark and Norway are temporarily suspending the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine. They're investigating reports a number of patients develop blood clots after having the injection. Authorities say it's just a precautionary measure. Pressures mounting on New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to resign amid allegations of sexual harassment. Nearly 60 politicians have signed a letter calling on him to step down. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio says the governor has no other choice.
Called an employee of his, someone who he had power over, called them to a private place, and then sexually assaulted her is absolutely unacceptable. It is disgusting to me. And he can no longer serve as governor.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide has suffered a blow with Sam Powell-Pepper set to take some personal leave from the club. He's expected back next month. Meantime, Captain Tom Jonas has told Rowie he's looking forward to the season getting underway when they take on North Melbourne next Sunday.
It's been a good pre-season. We've pushed each other really hard. But yeah, there's nothing like getting out there, playing good footy together and enjoying that for that sort of half an hour, hour and a half of the game, and then hopefully pushing deep into September.
The Adelaide 36ers have suffered a 5-point loss to the Brisbane Bullets in the NBL in a high-scoring shootout. Daniel Johnson leading the way for the Sixers with 29 points. To cricket, in South Australia will be hoping to kick-start its one-day cup tournament when it takes on Tasmania in a one-dayer, which begins later this morning. 2 games yesterday with Tassie easily beating Victoria by 6 wickets, while Queensland thumped WA by 93 runs. To tennis, and Roger Federer's out of the Qatar Open after being beaten in 3 sets by Georgian Nicolas Basilashvili. Spaniard Roberto Bautista Agut also through to the semi-finals after outlasting Dominic Thiem in 3 sets. Spaniard Sergio Garcia is the man to catch after the opening round of the Players' Championship in Florida. He fired a 7 under 65 and holds a 2-shot lead over Shane Lowry. Cam Smith is the best of the Aussies, finishing his round at 1 under. And Manchester United's been held to a 1-1 draw in the first leg of its knockout tie against AC Milan in the Europa League. Arsenal is currently locked at 1-1 against Olympiacos with about 15 minutes to play. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, 2nd year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
There's a broken down truck on the freeway up track just before the tunnels. Speeds have been reduced and it's picking up at Wingfield on the north-south motorway from the Port River Expressway through to Regency Road. Busy too on Kings Road at Salisbury South both ways. Jeps Cross, Bryans Road from South Terrace through to Junction Road picking up, and Richmond, Marion Road busy from Passmore Street to Sir Donald Bradman Drive. Spending quality time with the family these holidays is a big deal. That's why Big W has everything you need to make the most of every moment this Easter. Big W, every day's a big day. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Electrical, air conditioning, gas, solar or plumbing issues? Call Sharp Services on 131 750.
Sunny and 32 today, morning rain tomorrow down to 22, partly cloudy for Sunday 19 and 21 for Monday. At the moment 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In the last hour on Adelaide's 5AA.
How is it that the most important day on the Australian calendar cannot be observed properly when all these other things are happening?
Dawn services have not been cancelled. They have been moved inside. They have become ticketed events. They have not been cancelled at all. And
well, no, in terms of the numbers,
but in terms of people, as far as people being able to attend that would expect to be able to go, they can't.
Yes. No. Well, to an extent that they can, under the COVID safe plan, and how many they can have at their RSLs, and whether they can keep the distancing apart. Sure, the 3 biggest sub branches cannot do that.
there's a component of this conversation that continues with the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Nicola Spurrier.
I absolutely agree with people calling in. It's very important. You know, it means a lot to many people, and I enjoy going to those events as well and supporting our returned servicemen and women. So we will continue to work with any of the organisers to be able to run those events in a COVID-safe way.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 after 8, that's the really exciting part of that conversation that came out with Cheryl Cates from the RSL and then Professor Nicola Spurrier from SA Health. That there are still active conversations going, and Nicola Spurrier has taken to her own hands to have a closer look at this and try to get some sort of resolution. Because as it stands right now, 3 of the largest services around the state won't be accepting walk-ups or members from the general public, Brighton, Semaphore and Morphett Vale. And people, as they're texting in large number, are saying, well, really, that's not good enough. It's time for Breaking at 8.
Well, if you ever wonder why this city sometimes struggles to get things done, there's a little pamphlet doing the rounds in North Adelaide at the moment that sheds some light on the fairly myopic mindset of some who represent old Adelaide. There's a small but rowdy handful of North Adelaide residents who are up in arms about the proposed development at 88 O'Connell. Now, this is something where I think most rational people in South Australia have gone, well, thank God something's finally going to be done on that site. Well, there's a view in sections of North Adelaide that this is the last thing we want to see happen there. Now, the language in this pamphlet is just so utterly hysterical. You'd think that people have discovered plans to build like some outpost of a Union Carbide plant there on O'Connell Street. In sort of 200-point type, it says, new development set to cast a shadow on us all. Dear neighbours, right now plans are being drawn up to turn North Adelaide into a high-rise neighbourhood. The new development at 88 O'Connell Street, the old Lacornu site, is slated to be an astonishing 15 stories tall, rivalling many of the towers seen in the CBD. Why is such a megastructure being dumped on our doorstep? Because the council and state government are only interested in making a quick buck to prop up their failing budgets, which have seen debt and deficit grow to record levels. And why are the buildings so high? So a select few can enjoy the views from the top, while local residents' privacy is invaded due to their unparalleled viewing access into, in caps, your backyard. Now, the pamphlet goes on and on and on. Then it's got a photo of the Lord Mayor, Sandy Verschoor, with her email. It's also got a photo of Rachel Sanderson, the member for Adelaide, with her email. And these terrifying pictures suggesting that a giant shadow is going to be cast over private homes in North Adelaide. The punchline to all this is that our mail is that the leaflet doing the rounds may have actually originated from within the Adelaide City Council itself. So clearly, the old people who peer through their windows worrying about growth or development or people having fun or music being a little bit too loud are having a field day yet again over this one.
Protesting the height or length of shadows feels like satire. Yeah. What next? Shadows?
That's right.
So what was the concern about the height of the building? How many floors? 16?
15.
15, rivaling
15.
some of the biggest in Adelaide. I've just had a look at the tallest buildings in Adelaide. At 15, you're not in the top. No, I'm still going. You're not. Yeah, there's at least 26 buildings bigger than that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's rivaling the lofty heights of the biggest buildings in Adelaide.
Not the Sears Tower, is it?
No, it's not really there. State Labor leader Peter Malinauskas has called in. Peter Malinauskas, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will, and good morning, Dave.
Thanks for joining us, Peter. People have been really fired up this morning about the fact that these 3 Anzac Day dawn services, looks like, as things currently stand, won't be able to go ahead as expected. What do you think needs to be done? What can be done about making sure that as many people as possible can attend?
Well, gents, I don't think it's beyond our wit to be able to make this happen. I think the first thing to acknowledge is that RSLs around our state are volunteer-run organisations. They don't have a plethora of resources at their disposal. So, when it comes to putting on, complex events, which often major events are now because of COVID restrictions, it is difficult for them. So I think we should acknowledge the decisions that they've made in the context of their own resources. But this can happen with the support of state government. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we've already heard Nicola Spurrier say this morning that she's very open to trying to make the event work. And we know that with both Nicola Spurrier and Grant Stevens, that they've demonstrated a capability to do almost anything. I mean, we've got 40,000 people coming in to Adelaide Oval this year. We've had international tennis players come from COVID countries for an international tennis event. I mean, if we can make those things happen, we can certainly make dawn services happen. And that's why, if I was Premier, and I really hope Stephen Marshall does this morning, is say, look, let's make this happen. What is it going to take? And in that way, we can accommodate the literally thousands of people who want to pay their respects in a way that is traditional and customary.
Would you make it happen as Premier, even if the position of the RSL was they didn't want it to go ahead because some of their older members had fears about the spread of COVID, which certainly sounds like their position when they spoke to us earlier?
Yeah, I think the short answer to that question is I don't believe the RSL don't want it to go ahead. What they acknowledge is the substantial difficulty associated with it, and they don't want to put anyone in undue risk. So what we know about this COVID process with major events is it's all about managing risk and that we're capable of doing it. And also, I'm not too sure if having an event exclusively indoors necessarily makes it safer than it being outdoors,
yes,
provided we got all the measures in place.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Peter Malinauskas, Opposition Leader, thank you very much for calling in. We do have a statement too from Premier Stephen Marshall. His office has said the following: the Premier has met with the RSL to discuss further support and will continue to work with them and SA Health and ensure this is revisited. So as you said, Will, it does sound like it's...
Well, I would suggest it's happening.
Yeah.
There's no way the Premier is going to say this is going to be revisited, and you've got the Chief Medical Officer also being very open, it sounded like in that conversation with us, to these things potentially going ahead in some other format, and now them saying it's not going to happen.
The RSL's got completely flustered over it. That's what's happened.
Yes.
They've just gone, oh, we don't know what to do.
Yep.
But with help, I think it can occur.
The political question for the government is whether proactively, for events of the importance of Anzac Day, you shouldn't treat them all in the pile of here we go, we've got the exemptions pile of COVID safe plans, let's go through them. Whether they should have gone specifically to the RSL in the first place and said, okay, this is happening, obviously. What do you need from us? I don't think anyone in the community would begrudge Anzac Day being treated specially.
Yeah.
And it doesn't appear to have been.
No, well, I mean, but this is the thing, there's nothing is more special.
That's right.
So if you can have the Australian Open, you can have this.
Yep. 15 minutes after 8. Time to check traffic. Thanks to Dave Potter, Australia's #1 Honda dealer, second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
On the freeway up track, a truck has broken down just before the tunnels. Speeds have been reduced. On the down track at Mount Osmond, there's one lane out due to works, and it's picking up at Jeps Cross. Bryans Road is busy from South Terrace through to Grand Junction Road, and Marion Road busy at Richmond from Passmore Street through to Sir Donald Bradman Drive. Is a sore back keeping you up at night? Then get into 40 Winks, your back's biggest supporter. For a limited time, get up to 50% off the back care range. 40 Winks, serious about sleep. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sport Show.
There was a little bit of argy-bargy with our very own David Penberthy.
Keep it in perspective, people. Lay off. Get behind your club. This is all train spotter stuff. Oh, we stuffed up the trade 4.5 years ago.
Pembo, I am 100% in support of the players and the coaches.
4 p.m. weekdays.
I've not once had a negative word to say about them, and nor did Warren Treadray.
Rowie Sport Show on 5AA.
The 19th West, a premium home and land collection with front row views of the Grange Golf Club's manicured fairways and the tree-lined linear park walking trails. Secure your pre-launch appointment today. Visit the19thwest.com.au.
When you think surgery, you think hospital, right? Well, Dr. Greg Keane wants you to think SportsMed.
SportsMed is the only purpose-built orthopaedic hospital in the country, with world-class nursing and theatre staff, a first-class catering team, and the latest innovations in patient treatment and care.
And your surgeons?
We're experts in all procedures for hips, knees, feet, ankles, shoulders, elbows, wrists and hands.
All your treatments, all your care. One place. SportsMed.
Start living life again after your successful surgery.
SportsMed.com.au.
Adelaide.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang curtains and 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang blinds. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Feeling fatigued? Can't focus? Tired all the time? Now imagine you were a doctor in that situation. Half of junior doctors in SA's public hospitals report their workload is heavy or very heavy. A third report they never or only sometimes get paid for unrostered overtime. Meanwhile, a lack of medical staff contributes to ramping and waiting lists. It's time for SA Health to get real about staffing in our hospitals.
Authorised by Dr. David Pope for the South Australian Salaried Medical Officers Association, Adelaide.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Oh, windows when and where you want them.
Save up to 55% off Sealy Posturepedic exquisite discontinued floor stock mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman. Now's the time to upgrade your mattress and support Australian-made manufacturing. Plus, purchase with 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. Minimum finance amount $1,000. Approved applicants only. 60 equal monthly payments. Interest applies if you do not comply with terms and conditions. Fees and exclusions apply. Save up to 55% off Sealy Posturepedic exquisite discontinued floor stock mattresses and ensembles now at Harvey Norman.
Go! Can I get a price check in aisle 4? I just can't believe that Synovus vitamins, with over 80 years of trust and expertise in every tablet, are as affordable as they are.
Be clever healthy.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
It's coming up to 20 minutes after 8.
Well, back in November, South Australia was infamously plunged into what was initially billed as a 6-day lockdown, in part on account of the fact that 2 hotel quarantine workers were also doing shifts at the equally infamous Woodville Pizza Bar, which I visited a few weeks ago. One of the chaps who was working there was a Spanish national who was also working in hotel quarantine. He's being represented by a local immigration lawyer, Scott Gelbert, who I also caught up with a few weeks ago. Scott gave evidence yesterday to a parliamentary committee looking into the questions surrounding the lockdown, and he joins us on the line now. Scott, good morning. Good to talk to you again.
Good morning, David and Will. Good to talk.
So, Scott, just walk us through where things are at with your client, because he's still in Adelaide. He's on a bridging visa, I understand, at the moment, and him and his wife, they want to make their life here in Adelaide, but he feels like he's still got this shadow hanging over his head.
Yes, that's right. Not a lot has changed in his life in the last few months. He's been laying in wait to see what information we can draw out about this, and so I know what I can tell him, what his options are, what kind of life he's going to live in Adelaide moving forward. Him and his wife do want to live here. They want to start up their life again here, and they're enjoying it so far. This has been unfortunate. I want to try to get their life back on track.
There seems to be a sort of distinction in the language around what the Premier did or didn't say last year, because the Premier insists that he never called him a liar as such, but he did say that the lockdown was based on a lie. From a legal perspective, is there any difference? Like, if you say that someone has told a lie, doesn't that make them a liar by default anyway?
Look, I think you're partly right there. I think to say that he's not called a liar but he lies is artificial. Certainly it's going to draw an inference from that that a person is a liar. To try to make that distinction, I don't think flies, and I don't think people are going to buy that.
So, Scott, what does he want now? What would, in an ideal world, he get? Are we talking about some sort of financial settlement, or is there something else that he's after?
Thank you for asking, because I always welcome an opportunity to reinforce this. My client's very firm instructions is this is not about getting a cash grab. This is not about a payout. It's not about unjustly enriching himself somehow, trying to force the government's hand to do some deal behind closed doors and get a bit of money. It's not about that at all. This is certainly about having an opportunity to, in his opinion, set the record straight of what happened, to make it clear what involvement and how relevant he was in the decision to go into the lockdown, because as the message I've been trying to get out there, which is working, thankfully, is there is a difference here in two issues, and that's my client's involvement, whether he misled contact tracers on the one hand, and all the reasons and factors that the government had to contend with and deal with in determining whether or not we should have a lockdown. They are different, and it's all too much to say that my client caused that lockdown in the face of all the other factors, which Professor Spurrier has rightly said a number of times. It is a very complex thing.
Why then the legal avenue, Scott? Why not he sit down and tell his story to someone so it's made public, so his account of everything that transpired is on the record?
Well, if by legal avenue you mean commencing some sort of legal proceedings, then at the moment we are approaching this publicly because essentially the Premier has sort of started this in the public. That's where the issue is live. And until I have any real information, it's hard for me to formulate a proper, strong and sound basis to commence any legal proceeding. We're keeping that on the cards. It's certainly an option. We don't want that avenue. My client is not litigious. He's looking to work with the government here to make it clear to what extent or involvement he had. Certainly it's in our pocket, and in some respects it might be helpful, because if legal proceedings are commenced, the government will be bound by model litigant rules. They'll have to engage with us meaningfully, and we look forward to that. We'd like for them to do that in the meantime.
Sorry, mate. My understanding is that your client, he speaks reasonably good English, but not brilliant English. He was spoken to, I think, only once by SA Health, and it was over the phone. Do you think it's possible that he might have, if he did end up telling a lie, or rather providing information that wasn't reliable, do you think it might have actually just been because he was struggling to work out what they were asking him?
Absolutely. That's certainly a possibility and even a probability. And that's why it's all the more important that I get the information that I've asked for months ago now. That is, what happened on that phone call, what happened in that exchange, to know what questions are asked, how did my client respond to those, and how did he answer them, because it'll give me real insight as to what he understood when he answered their questions, whatever they were.
Who conducted that interview, Scott? Because we're in uncharted territory. I imagine if it was a criminal investigation, it's police and there's procedure and there are things that we've got well-established rules around. But this is asking people questions about the origins of an outbreak of a pandemic. I mean, this is all uncharted territory, I imagine. So, I mean, are there rules in place? Would there be records of that interview?
Well, all contact tracers are trained extensively, from what I understand. I mean, I don't know who asked the question. I understand it was contact tracers. I don't know if they were SA Health contact tracers or they were brought in from interstate. I understand that happened later on, just to deal with the number of contact tracers that were required to respond to the number of cases that were coming forward. But it's hard to say who. It's hard to say who made the call. Again, that'd be buried in the information that I've requested.
I don't know, just thinking about it in reverse, I can speak reasonable Spanish, but if I was being interviewed in Spanish by a Spanish contact tracer about something as complicated as the possible acquiring of a disease, I would really struggle with all of those words. Like, even saying that now and trying to think of how that sentence would look to me in Spanish sounds tricky. So, yeah, it's an interesting case, Scott.
Well, what is interesting is last year the government started enjoying the protection of an immunity under the Public Health Act to deal with these sorts of issues. It was specifically inserted into the Public Health Act to give the Crown immunity for any act or omission relating to the COVID-19 outbreak. So, armed with that immunity, it's strange to me why they're not forthcoming with the information, knowing that they have that protection. We just want the government, the Premier, to open up and with dialogue with us and work with us so that we can get to the bottom of just what part my client played, if any, how significant and serious that was, and if it really was the reason we had the lockdown, and was that the right thing to do. We want to work with the government.
Yeah, I think the public will be interested in the answer to some of those questions as well. Thank you. Scott Gilbert, the lawyer for the Spanish man at the centre of the lockdown last November. It's time for Fuel Watch. Thanks to Dave Potter Honda. Petrol going up this weekend. This is extraordinary. It's been seen up to $1.67 in the north and east. $1.67. If you can get it cheap and you need it, get it now. $1.21 at the OTR on Anzac Highway at Everard Park. $1.22 at the OTR at the Pasadena Shopping Centre. $1.19 at the Mobile at the corner of Torrens Road and Stevens Street. $1.19 at the Mobile on Semaphore Road at Semaphore, and $1.21 at the Caltex on Salisbury Highway in Salisbury Downs.
Entertaining in the garden? Get the outdoor furniture you want at Garden Grove. It's all new and beautiful, with sun lounges, courtyard, bistro and outdoor dining, barbecues, pizza ovens, water features and a great selection of garden pots and giftware. Garden Grove, Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to all areas.
QCO on Brighton Road have everything you need to upgrade your bathroom, kitchen and laundry. We have over 40 vanity units on display, tapware, shower screens and even the kitchen sink. Choose from leading brands like Caroma, Dorf, Phoenix, ADP, Timberline and more. Come in for ideas and talk to the experts at QCO, a South Australian family business for over 60 years. QCO, reflecting your good taste. Visit our showroom, 270 Brighton Road, Somerton Park.
Sold by McGain again.
And right now, they're all selling really quickly, so our advice is get along to these open inspections.
Tomorrow from 11:30 to 12, Mike Dobbin and Sam Raven are opening 8 Pardalunga Crescent, Woodcroft. This rare find, 6-bedroom, 2-storey home features 3 living areas, a big outdoor entertaining space with a built-in barbecue and a double lock-up garage, $499 to $548K.
That's a good price. And what about this? On Sunday from 11 to 11:30, Mike Dobbin and Zoe Ball, they're going to be opening 11 Shropshire Close, Old Ranella, beautiful part of town, Old Ranella. This beautifully updated home has 3 bedrooms, renovated bathrooms and kitchen, raked ceilings, air conditioning, all-weather entertaining area with a fire pit, beautifully landscaped gardens, $445 to $475K.
For all the info, take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at realestate.com.au.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we believe that what you want is pretty straightforward. A service department that offers factory-trained mechanics, next-day servicing, complimentary pickup and delivery, wash and vacuum is standard, brake, wheel alignment and shock absorber testing included, complimentary loan cars, breakfast or lunch is on us, and access Wi-Fi while you're waiting. Go online to book your service today and experience the difference. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
At Specsavers, we know we could all use a spare pair.
Where are my glasses?
Luckily, you can get 2 designer pairs, no gap, from the $199 single vision range with selected health funds. Only at Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Is that one there? No. Oh, found one. Maybe not. Small car hiding behind the big ones. Oh, are they leaving? No, they're getting their bags out the back. I'll just do one more lap.
The worst part about shopping is you usually spend more time looking for a park than in the shops. Not at Newton Central. With access to over 500 car parks, you'll never have to do one more lap of the parking lot before you shop. Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8223 is the number if you'd like to jump into the conversation. It's Meat Tray Friday too, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. Still time for some spooky stories. If you've got one that you'd like to tell us, we'll award the meat tray just before 9 o'clock. In a moment, 5AA News. Then after it, Superintendent Des Bray from SAPOL.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 32 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brantig.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
3 of the state's biggest dawn services have been cancelled over crowd control and COVID restrictions. Chief Public Health Officer Professor Nicola Spurrier says she's keen to work with the RSL to find a solution. State Opposition Leader Peter Malinauskas has great faith the services can happen.
This can happen with the support of state government. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we've already heard Nicola Spurrier say this morning that she's very open to trying to make the event work. And we know that with both Nicola Spurrier and Grant Stevens, that they've demonstrated a capability to do almost anything.
In a statement, the Premier says he's met with the RSL to discuss further support for the services and will continue to work with them and SA Health. A senior federal government minister says the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine is safe after the rollout was temporarily suspended in 3 European countries. Reports of blood clots in a small number of patients has prompted Denmark, Iceland and Norway to pause use of the injection. Europe's medicines watchdog says there's no evidence of a link, and cases of clots in vaccinated people are no higher than the general population. Government Minister Peter Dutton has told Today health officials in Australia are keeping a close eye on all the evidence.
The way in which this rollout has worked, not just here but around the world, means that we do have an enormous amount of data, and the conclusion here is that the vaccine is safe. It'll continue to roll out.
A man's been arrested accused of starting a grass fire in the Adelaide Hills overnight. It broke out on Stamps Road between Echunga and Mount Barker. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says the blaze destroyed a small amount of grass and scrub.
After searching the area, they've actually located a 29-year-old Mount Barker man who's been arrested for causing that fire. So crime scene investigators are going to attend this morning to assist with the investigation, and he's expected to be charged with offences relating to the fire and the property damage.
A boat filled with 200 kilos of cocaine has been intercepted off the New South Wales coast. International law enforcement tipped off federal police. A man has been arrested and will face court today. Prince William has spoken publicly about racism allegations sparked by Prince Harry and Meghan's tell-all interview. The couple claim an unnamed royal raised concerns about what colour their son Archie's skin might be before he was born. When questioned during a public appearance, the Duke of Cambridge said the royal family is very much not a racist family. An Australian-led review is suggesting doctors should wait before clamping the umbilical cords of premature babies. More from Nine's Lauren Howarth.
Researchers have analysed 42 clinical trials which involve close to 6,000 infants around the world. It found doctors should wait up to a minute before clamping the umbilical cords of premature babies rather than doing so immediately. This resulted in preterm babies requiring fewer blood transfusions and improved their chances of survival. More research is still needed, but the initial results are positive.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Miele cooking appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide's Sam Powell-Pepper has taken some personal leave from the club, saying, along with the rehabilitation of my hand, there are other parts of my life that need some work right now. It's hoped the 23-year-old will return to the club next month. Meantime, Western Bulldogs defender Hayden Crozier will miss the first 2 months of the AFL season after undergoing shoulder surgery. The Adelaide 36ers have lost their 4th match in 5 after going down to the Brisbane Bullets. The Sixers led by 6 points at half-time, but a Nathan Sobey-inspired Bullets turned things around to win by 5. Manchester United's been held to a 1-1 draw in its Europa League clash against AC Milan, but plenty of excitement for the Red Devils, with 18-year-old Amad Diallo scoring in just his 3rd appearance for the club with a brilliant header.
Now might be something in here. Oh, it's brilliantly finished. Amad in behind the Milan defence to backhead the ball in for his first Manchester United goal.
Yeah, he looks a player, that's for sure, and it's now also full-time in other matches. Arsenal enjoying a 3-1 win against Olympiacos, while Harry Kane bagged a double as Tottenham beat Dinamo Zagreb 2-0. The NRL season got underway last night with reigning premiers, the Melbourne Storm, 26 to 18 point winners against South Sydney. And Paralympic athlete Jared Clifford has set a new world record in the 1500 metres at the Canberra Track Classic. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Dave Potter's Mad March demo clearance is on now, with huge savings and factory bonuses across the range.
On the freeway up track, a truck has broken down just before the tunnels. Speeds have been reduced. On the down track, one lane is out at Mount Osman for roadworks, and it's picking up at Wingfield on the north-south motorway from the Port River Expressway through to Regency Road, and at Jeps Cross, Bryans Road busy from South Terrace through to Grand Junction Road. Check your speed at Queen Street, Williamstown. Craving chicken? Head to Red Rooster for the $5 quarter lunch. Chicken, chips, mash, gravy. What are you waiting for? The Rooster's calling. Get it while you can, where you can. Available till 4 p.m. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Electrical, air conditioning, gas, solar or plumbing issues? Call Sharp Services on 131 750.
Sunny and 32 today. Morning rain developing tomorrow down to 22. Partly cloudy for Sunday, 19. And more of the same for Monday, 21. At the moment, 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 minutes to 9, behind closed doors coming up shortly. We've also got a meat tray to give away thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. But first, SAPOL are appearing to the general public for help when it comes to the investigation into the killing of Jasmine Kaur. We're joined on 5AA Breakfast by the Detective Superintendent Des Bray. Des, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Will.
Des, this is quite mysterious and hard to piece together, isn't it? Tell us what police know and what role the public can hopefully play in helping you get to the bottom of what's happened to this poor woman.
Yeah, we're very certain that Jasmine was taken by force immediately after leaving her work on the Friday night, and she was detained and taken to the Flinders Ranges, where it's most likely that she met her death at the hands of somebody she knew. Along the way, it's a long journey. We'd expect somebody would refuel. There's certainly things we're looking for, and there's about 8 hours that are unaccounted for in the Flinders Ranges area. So, you know, where were they? What were they doing? Was Jasmine already dead? But the offender was in that area for quite a while.
Do you expect, based on what you know about the movements of the person you're investigating, that someone will have seen them? Or is this, are you totally flying blind when it comes to this 8 hour period?
No, I think somebody will have seen them. When we were up there the other day, there was very minimal traffic. There wasn't a lot of tourists about. And I think, you know, people would have noticed them. Like we're up there, and I think a young Indian male at around that time, with the very few amount of people that were moving about the area, would stand out.
There were suggestions earlier in the week that this was potentially a suicide pact. Is that something that police have dismissed? Does that sound like it is perhaps some sort of, you know, dodgy alibi that was being proffered?
In the early stages, the man came up with a story that Jasmine had suicided and agreed to show us. So we welcomed that cooperation and went there, and he was obviously arrested for the offence of failing to notify the coroner of the death. But as soon as we did that exhumation, that meant the version offered by him was just totally unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
There's absolutely no doubt that she did not commit suicide, in my view.
In the Advertiser, in their reporting this morning, they've got a series of photographs that have been taken by fixed cameras of the car moving. What is so important about the period that you don't know about? Because it's clear that you can establish at this point in time a direction and potentially a destination from what you already know.
Yeah, it's where he was, what he was doing when Jasmine. We think now we have a clearer picture of when Jasmine died, but you know there'll be other evidentiary material, and I can say overnight that a member of the public has found some crucial evidence relating to this case in a rubbish bin at Kanyaka Ruins. Now that was most likely put there after her death, and that'll be central to the investigation and is some of the vital evidence that we've been looking for. So,
was it a weapon or something, Des?
There's basically some of Jasmine's belongings,
Right.
and there's some items that we believe were used in her detention.
Right, okay.
Des, can you just repeat for anyone listening that might be able to assist in the investigation, is the car that that they may have seen? Have you got some details for people that might help jog their memory?
Yep. The car was a blue metallic Commodore, a 2009, registration number S267CJ. So it's a Commodore about 10 years old.
CJ, sorry, Des, I'm not jumping in. CJD, I think.
Yeah, yep. Sorry. And yeah, it's a blue metallic Commodore about 10 years old and had alloy mag-looking wheels on it.
Okay. Well, we hope that more people come forward and you're able to ultimately solve this one. Detective Superintendent, thanks for your time this morning.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you, Des.
Detective Superintendent Des Bray from the SAPOL Major Crime Unit.
Horrible story.
It really is. 17 minutes to 9. Jared has called in, the Secretary of the Morphett Vale RSL, one of the three that has had to limit crowd numbers and go to a ticketed indoor venue. It sparked so much debate and discussion on the program this morning. Jared, good morning to you.
Morning, gents.
Jared, thank you so much for calling in. We got the sense when we spoke to Professor Spurrier that she's very much of the view that there is still a way that these dawn services can be held with numbers that more closely relate to the way they were held pre-COVID. What's the situation with Morphett Vale? Do you think it's something that could be revisited?
Logistically, it's possible. We are the largest dawn service in the state. We're the ones that get, on average, 17,000 that attend our dawn service. So on top of the normal preparation, we have to then, for hostile vehicle management, we have to block 18 intersections to allow our dawn service to happen, and that's $5,500 just in traffic management alone to meet that. To be able to meet the COVID management plan requirements, we would have to have a border around our Memorial Gardens, which is on the corner of Flaxmill Road and Main South Road, so it's a major intersection. So to be able to logistically and financially put those barriers up so that we can contact trace everybody just proved to be too much of a financial burden on us and a logistical burden for us.
Do you know, so what would have the total been?
We didn't even, when we looked at what we would have to do, we didn't even go down that path.
Okay.
Given that our average cost to run the event anyway is around the $12,000 mark.
Yep.
For a free event, we're just a small sub-branch.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think anyone's expecting you guys to carry the cost.
Council. We get great support from the City of Onkaparinga. But to then look at that, we were probably looking at, I don't know, probably another $5,000 on top of it, which is just something we're not in a position financially to do.
Had you had any conversations with the state government or SA Health or anyone else about how it might be possible? Because, as everyone's saying this morning, if anyone or any event in this country deserves some special treatment, it's you guys.
Yeah.
We spoke with the council and SAPOL, the police. They were very good in what we were trying to achieve. And the biggest restriction we had, having attended the Fringe last weekend, everywhere you went, your QR code.
Yep.
The biggest issue we've got is how do we contact trace for everybody? And that's just something that we're not in a position to be able to do, given the location of where our Memorial Gardens are.
Which would make it different from something like the football where people know which seat you're in and so forth.
Correct, and we don't have that luxury. So we opted to move it back to our sub-branch, which is surrounded by a fence with one gate to get in and out. It's still going to be an outdoor event. We're going to have 500 people in attendance, 200 for our members and VIPs, so our veterans can still get there. They will be seated. And then through Eventbrite, who offer free services for free events, we're doing tickets for members of the public so they can still attend. And then we're just wearing the cost to, like you guys do, live stream your show. We'll get the technology to live stream the event so the people in the Onkaparinga area can still observe the the dawn service with us.
It feels to me, Jared, like if it's only, and this we would hope very much with the vaccine sort of eventually coming to Australia, this 2021 Anzac Day would be a one-off where the cost might be higher. I don't think anyone in the community would begrudge public money being used, because I know you guys run on the smell of an oily rag, and it's a great volunteer-driven organisation, the RSL. But I think people would chip in, because, you're saying 500 people can go. Well, that's 16,500 fewer than would normally go. What is such a great dawn service.
And we're not talking about millions of dollars here, it sounds like. It's tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
For 3 different dawn services that are of significant importance to large numbers of people. Gee, I don't think there's a person alive that would begrudge the state government
And
for chipping
given
in.
the 3 areas like ours, Semaphore and Brighton, we're the ones that are out in the open, so we do need that little bit extra to help
Yeah.
put up the barricades around it. So that's wholly and purely the reason why we've opted this year. We were devastated last year for our veteran community that we couldn't hold a dawn service, but this is the best of a worst case scenario, I suppose, is the right way of putting it.
Yeah, yeah. Tell your president too, Jared, and I mean this in all sincerity, no one's trying to have a crack at the RSL about this.
No, that's right.
Everyone's just upset because it means so much to Australians that it's the big day we get.
Agreed, and I think it's because it all hit us. I got the inquiries last night as well, given the headlines, they're cancelled. They are not cancelled. We want to pay the respect. The Light Up the Dawn that worked last year, hopefully will work this year. With the live streaming, people can still be involved the best way they can.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But I'll tell you, if there's a way we can avoid, sitting at home on a laptop, watching it on Zoom, and actually do it with the solemn and moving way it's normally done, then that would be terrific. But we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah. Good on you, Jared. Thanks for calling
Thank
in,
you,
mate.
Jared.
That's great information.
Thanks, mate.
Jared's put some real meat on the bone there about the challenges that face with.
People are just all over town. Like, I got a text from Mark Soderstrom at Mix. He said they had Sam Shaheen on this morning. Sam sent me a text last night, a tweet last night saying Peregrine would do anything they could to help. I mean, the thing is, it's not at the point where it needs some sort of mass community action to save it. It just needs, hopefully, you can get government, health, police, and the RSL to just have one more try at looking, particularly with those cost issues that Jared just raised so eloquently. Maybe there's a way it can actually happen. It sounds like there's a way.
This is not unscrambling the egg. We're talking about fences, QR codes, and traffic management.
Yeah, which is
things that cost a couple of $1,000.
And like I mentioned the footy example, and sure, seating makes it easier to do contact tracing, but there's a hell of a lot easier than getting 200 tennis players in from high infection countries so that they can play at a tennis tournament.
The Fringe is the model. The Garden and Gluttony.
Absolutely.
They're big parks. They put fences around them, and on those fences they stick signs that say, here's the QR code. If we can do it for that, we can do it for this.
100%.
It's coming up to 10 minutes to 9, and it's time to check traffic thanks to Dave Potter. They're Australia's #1 Honda dealer, second year running. DavePotterHonda.com.au.
There's a truck breakdown on the freeway up track just before the tunnels. Speeds have been reduced. On the down track, it's down to 1 lane at Mount Osman for roadworks, and it's busy on the north-south motorway at Wingfield from the Port River Expressway through to Regency Road. Kings Road at Salisbury South is sluggish both ways, and Marion Road busy at Richmond from Passmore Street through to Sir Donald Bradman Drive. Style your home with Freedom Homewares. Right now, you can get 30% off selected rugs and 30% off all table lighting. Plus, explore a huge range on new homeware pieces. Only at Freedom, Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Moving day-to-day business from this
You have 8 missed calls
to this.
Great, so I'll see you at 3.
It starts with a business mobile plan that helps you work on the go. Search Optus Business today. Great business starts with yes.
My favourite thing to do at St Andrew's School is reading. I love coming to school and getting to try new things like viola. I can make new friends.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Patrick, school captain at St Andrew's School. Mid-year entry is approaching. Join the principal for a tour on Thursday, the 18th of March at 9 a.m. or Saturday, the 20th of March at 10 a.m. Just Google St Andrew's School.
Before you head off on your well-earned Easter break and leave behind all your worries, remember, you don't have to leave behind any plastic bottles.
No. Got a Puritap, love my Puritap. Join Puritap's war on waste by reducing single-use plastics. Fill up your bottles and tanks with great-tasting Puritap water.
Anti-plastic in South Australia now. We don't do plastic.
Oh, we hate it.
Yeah. Pure sustainability. And when you think of the money you'll save, it is pure value as well.
It is. How good is this? A Puritap from only $49 up front. That is pure value.
That's a designer tap installation and filters for 2 years on a great payment plan called Puritap on 133502 or go to puritap.com.au. Some T's and C's apply and have a purely relaxing Easter break.
For over 36 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip. With over 400 used cars to choose from, you're sure to find the car you're looking for. Steinborner is your first choice for new Hyundai and Mitsubishi in the Barossa and your first choice for Ford in Clare. And don't forget, you can always click through the collection of vehicles online at steinborner.com.au. Great local deals on great local cars from your locals. Steinborner Automotive. Still well worth the trip or well worth the click.
At Spotlight, a window's what you make it. Save a massive 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang curtains and 50% off the entire range of Riley ready-to-hang blinds. So you can cool it, block it and shade it for less. Exclusions apply. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
9 News, weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. The switch is on to the news that's live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 to 9, we're going to give away a meat tray in a moment, thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. But before we do that, it's time to go behind closed doors.
And when we get behind closed...
$13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Tony Pilkington.
Yeah, hello everybody and welcome along to Afternoons as we do of an afternoon in lieu of the fact that I always get that expression wrong. Alrighty, you can be part of the program on that interactive number of ours, the 82230000 or the text line 040448. That's alrighty. We'll check some petrol prices for you pretty soon. There's gotta be some cheap petrol out there somewhere. I'll try to find it for you and I'll take some My Lanta for that later on. An email from Fleur who says, G'day Pilko, love the show. Is there somewhere in Adelaide where I can buy some cheap plutonium? Yeah, don't know, Fleur. We'll try and find out. Somebody will know. Somebody will give us a call. Somebody will know on that interactive number of ours. An email from Colin. We'll try and get through a few. He says, G'day, Pilko. Love the show. You were talking about no more free camping at Lake Bonnie in the Riverland. And do they still have a nudist camp there? So, Colin wanting to know if there's a nudist camp on Lake Bonner. Which must be close to Lake Bonnie. Or I've just made a mistake. We'll try and find out for you, Tom, even though your name is Colin. Alrighty. Right on the 12:35 in digital, 25 to 1 analogue, 8:35 Greenwich Mean Time, 1:35 a.m. UTC, and in binary it's 0001101100010100011. Yeah, wait a minute, I left out a 1. I'll start that again. 000110110001111. 1001.
Oh. Hey, Blakey, I'm pretty sure yesterday he played the song Picture Book by the Kinks in the thing that you're in.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, okay.
Good
song.
song.
It's good for people who've been wondering for the last 24 hours.
I reckon we'll get texts about that. Hey, good. We got a good text here from Darryl. We had a lot of great texts today. Darryl says, hey, guys, can't the RSLs move the dawn services to local football ovals? Treat it like a footy game. One gate in, one gate out, QR codes for all to access, then space patrons out in the stands and use the venue's PA systems. That's quite a good lateral idea, I think, and shows that, people are just willing this to occur.
I assume the reason they are wedded to the locations they have, though, would be because of the memorials there, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Look, there is a solution. This is, as we said, this is not rocket science. There's a way to do this. And there's certainly a will, and I'd be stunned now if it doesn't. Coming up to a couple of minutes to 9.
Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Both are experts at what they do, so they've formed an alliance to help you. Whether you're buying or selling a business or somewhere in between, they'll work together, making sure the business you're going to sell or buy is in top shape. Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA.
Experts in business support and sales. Ready to help you achieve your goals. Call them today. 8300 0000.
It doesn't matter what level you're at, from beginner to expert, the incredible team at Drummond Golf just love talking golf. Here's Shane from Drummond Golf.
G'day, Rowie.
Shane, is there anything you guys don't do?
We do the lot, from fitting you to the exact clubs best suited to your game and style of play. So you can also look the part. We've got plenty of clothing and we've got all the accessories to go with it.
Now, you guys have the best accessories. Seriously, it's like a golfer's wonderland down there. All the famous brands. And you also do lessons.
Absolutely. We'll get your handicap down. And don't forget, our driving range is there to hone your skills 7 days a week.
You're a legend, Shane. See Shane and the team at Drummond Golf, Enfield, Darlington, Mile End, Tea Tree Gully and the West Beach driving range.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
The new Nissan Navara has landed. It's got a 3.5-tonne brake towing capacity, 1-tonne payload, and an intelligent off-road around view monitor. Head to your Nissan dealer for a test drive. T's and C's apply.
Get up to $100 instant cash back on top tyre brands at Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Right on a minute to 9. We've got a meat tray to give away to round out the week. Thanks to Liam and the team at Chanella's, your local butcher, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. Whose spooky story did you like the best?
Oh, look, they're all great. I really like Steve from Camman too, though. Long-time listener, Steve. Very active on Twitter as well. Up there in the bacon capital of Australia. Good bacon, Camman bacon. Have you had it?
I believe so.
Oh, excellent. Really good in the BLT. It's got a nice saltiness. The story he told chillingly about the mysterious man in the grey suit who got off his bus but wasn't actually there. I like that story. That was good. We got a text earlier too about the situation with the Whyalla Steelworks. This is obviously a real concern with the finance pulling up short. Greensill is the parent or the financial company that backs Sanjeev Gupta's Steelworks. Everyone in Whyalla that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to quite a few people this week because I'm writing something for tomorrow's paper about it, they're holding their breath. Whyalla is a city that's been threatened with extinction before and has survived every time. But we are going to be climbing into that story on Monday's show, so tune in for that and have a great weekend.
Stick around, Leon Bonner on the way. We'll see you Monday from 6.
Online